Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the show today. Very happy to have you here. Hopefully, everybody had themselves a good weekend. Mine was quiet. I had one of those catch up on sleep weekends. How about you?
I did a little bit of that. Actually, I did a lot of that this week because my wife was on vacation all week,
Oh,
and I actually was able to get caught up on some sleep. And then today, I actually just got back about 20 minutes ago. Uh, Myself, my lovely wife, Mr. Miracle, and his lovely wife went to a Renaissance fair up in Michigan. It's pretty good. It was a small one, little small one in Michigan, not like nothing grandiose, but it was still pretty cool. They
why
had
were
sword
the women
fights.
going without the men?
No, we went. We all went together, all four of us.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, um, yeah. We all went up there. Nice little small Renaissance festival. Uh, Pretty cool. First time. I think it was the first time in a very long time I'd been to something like that because I think I went to one like 20 years ago or so. But
Oh,
yeah,
yeah. Yeah, it's been that long for me as well. But I used to do
yeah,
rent fairs all the time because I was a member of the SCA.
yeah. We got to see some full on full
Oh,
contact
yeah.
fighting.
Well, I love it.
It was pretty cool.
I love it, love it, love it. I did that for as long as my body could take the punishment.
Oh yeah, it looks pretty brutal. I'm like, oof,
It is.
oof.
Yeah.
And then they even did it. They did it first. They were just doing swords, right? Then they did arming swords and little bucklers. Then they did swords and shields. And then they pulled out the maces, and I said, ooh, ooh. I said, these guys is going to be sore
Oh,
tomorrow.
yeah.
There ain't no
Well,
getting
see,
around
that was the
that.
thing. I did it for as long as it took me a day to 3 to heal from the soreness.
Yeah,
When I was sore from the week before, the week after, yeah, I put it down.
yeah. It was time. Body's like, all right, that's enough. That's enough, old man. We've had enough.
Enough of that. But I absolutely adored it because, I wasn't the greatest football player. I mean, I was pretty good in, run play as a middle linebacker,
Sure.
right? I
Hmm.
mean, I was like the only situation I was good at, right? But it's just kid football. It's not real, right? But I did love it, and I was actually a very good sword fighter with fencing, but that's not real sword fighting, right?
Right,
So
right.
when I found the SCA, and I can't remember what the other name of the other official thing is, but the sword fighting clubs, you know.
Yes.
When I found that, what I found was a combination of football and sword fighting put together, and I was like, "This is where have I been? Where has this been my whole life?" Right? Is that kind of thing, right? Uh,
Oh yeah.
yeah, because I got to be rough and brutal, which I enjoy. I'm just not super good at it, but I'm a good sword fighter, so it kind of
Sure.
all lined up. And I had the greatest time doing that, dude. My favorite thing to do. It sounds weird that this is my favorite part, but we will have if you got enough people, we'll do like war, right? And
Sure.
I've been to
Yeah.
Penzix several times when I was younger, and that's you're talking about 10,000 people on the field fighting. That's 5,000 aside, right?
That's
That's
awesome.
that's a pretty large battle historically speaking, right?
Right, especially
Um,
that style. Yeah.
yeah, and I didn't do. I wasn't a frontline guy, which is weird, being a football player. But and that is fun when those shields come together. Boy, it'll echo off the mountains, dude. Right?
Oh yeah.
But no, what I was really good at, oddly enough, I'm not super fleet of foot. I mean, I'm football fleet, so faster
Sure.
than most, I guess. Not really super fast. But I get tired like in 10 seconds, and then once
Right.
it's
Right.
done, I have stamina all day, right?
Yep.
So the position I played in the war things was called a coyote. And basically, my job was to work my way around the entire battle, get in the back, kill as many archers as I possibly could, and then come in from behind and cause havoc.
Excellent.
I loved it,
Flanker.
dude. I love that shit, dude.
Flanker.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You were basically like the cavalry, but they didn't. I'm assuming they didn't have cavalry.
We did some events with horses, but there's a lot of setup that needs to be done for that. It's
Right.
it's because we're
Right.
trying not to die. You know,
Yes. And the horse doesn't care. They will
you know.
stomp you. Get
We'll
out of the
take,
way.
we'll take plenty of bruises, even deep purple ones. There's occasional bone to get broke, that comes with it, right? But
Yep.
death, and it does happen sometimes. But I mean, we try to avoid death.
Yes. That's
Yeah,
if you can. Yeah.
yeah, if
You
you
don't
can.
want that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but my point is, I miss it because I did absolutely adore doing that, dude.
Do
I
they
just
have?
My
I'm
body
assuming
couldn't
they
handle it.
do. There's clubs over there for, you know,
They did.
all sorts of things like that.
Yeah, no, of course. When I went to Hawaii, which is the last place that did it, they of course had SEA there. SEA is worldwide, right?
Hmm.
And I went over to Hawaii and I got involved in some of the stuff they were doing, but their how should I say this nicely? Their ability was hampered by their
Mm.
lifestyle. Oh, how's that?
Yeah, because they're fat. Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was just instantly the best fighter on the island. And that's just weird because for me, SCA worldwide, my top ranking was 73,
Interesting.
which isn't bad. That's worldwide. You're talking in like millions of people, right? So
Sure.
it's not horrible, but still nowhere near champion, right? Nowhere near, not
Right.
even close. And my fencing number worldwide was very similar. Actually, I think my fencing one was 73, and my SEA one was like 90 something, maybe 96, something like that. But they were both top 100, around 100. And, they were just really not good. I came over here to Japan, which I imagined when I got here, I'd already kind of retired because my body just couldn't take it. But I
Hmm.
came over here to Japan. I figured I'd find some busters, right? Right? I mean, here in Japan, I
Right.
mean, the way of the sword and all. But no, dude, just lame ass nerds.
That's funny because one of the comments I made that made everybody crack up. We were sitting and having some food, and we were in this tent, and there was a whole bunch of people around, and I just started laughing, and they're like, "What?" And I'm like, "It's just very. It's a weird feeling to be the least nerdy person in this many people."
Right?
It's a weird feeling to be around this many people and not be at least a little bit more nerdy than most of them. No, no, not here.
Uh-huh.
Not here.
Well, I'll tell
Not
you
here.
what. Tell you what. One thing, it doesn't mean nothing to you and me now. But when I was a young man, if you're good, you go up and you win at the sword fight shit, man, you get laid.
Yeah.
Oh
I told
my goodness, dude.
I told the ladies, I was like, "You guys want to go to a Renaissance fair?" Like, "Yeah, yeah, it'd be fun." I'm like, "You know that there's like a lot of degeneracy at these things, right? Like that's
Oh yeah,
kind
at
of one of the
nighttime. At nighttime.
subcultures."
During the day, it's like for
Yes.
the public, right?
Right.
But yeah, usually it's a weekend thing. They're all camping nearby, and oh yeah, it degeneracy. That's where I picked up the nickname "Lightsaber of Love." Did I tell you that? Did I tell you that story?
I don't think so. No.
Yeah, yeah, it was good. That was a good story. We were, I basically had some success with music, studio work and stuff, and it wasn't a lot of money, but for me at my age, it was a lot of money. And I had
Mhm.
money in my pocket, and I was doing the essay. I was really serious into it. And group of friends of mine, we basically got an old Volkswagen Bug, which we turned into a mini camper kind of thing, and we just stuffed it full of all our stuff, and literally driving down the road, people laying on top of tents and shit. And we just traveled around the country, and because you can find a SEA event every weekend somewhere.
Right.
Actually, is multiple ones, and we just traveled around the country literally for a year just doing SEA stuff and had a great time. My skill just increased incredibly, right?
Oh, I
And
bet. Yeah.
oh yeah, yeah. But anyway, we were going to this big, huge event called Fools War down in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia, outside Atlanta. And you're talking about 7,000 people event, right? And this is one
Right.
of the private ones. It's not like the one you went to that's open to the public. This is a closed one. Five to
Right.
7,000 people,
Sheesh.
right? And of course, it's all, you have all kind of stuff. You can learn how to make cordials. Can learn to do seamstry. You can learn heraldry. I mean, all kinds of medieval things you can learn. But of course, the big thing that people come to see is the fighting. And we do
Right.
tournament fighting. We do battles like we did the fort battles. They basically out of straw bales, hay bales. They make three castles, and you have two teams. And at the end of an hour, who controls the most of these hay bale castles wins. Stuff like that. Um,
Sure.
anyway, um, we were going down, and we were coming up, and one of the guys had the condom box, right? Box
Hmm.
full of condoms, and he's like, "Dude, where are all the condoms at?" And the other guy's like, some dude needed them. I gave him a bunch of them." Like, what? Even? So we were just outside the campground, and we stopped at a truck station, right? And
Right.
of course, in the men's room, they have condom dispensers on the wall. I don't know if they still have that, but they did when I was young. And
I think so.
they have all these condom dispensers, and one of them said glow in the dark. So
Hmm.
I was like, "Oh, that's cool." So, so I bought a bunch of them, right? Threw them in my pocket. Went to the event, and I probably it was probably that it wasn't planned, of course, but that was probably my best showing in my entire SEA career. That week,
Yeah.
I don't know why, it was just one of those weekends. I was on. I was on, just so incredibly on, and people were saying my name. I think I got my laurel that day because of that. But whatever, that's all nerd shit you don't care about. But it was just one. It was just, I felt great afterward. I mean, I was bruised to hell, but I felt good. And
Right.
I was at this one big party, big huge party, a bunch of Mongols basically. That was their kind of theme, and they had a big area, lots of food. It was perfect situation, but just a bunch of sausage fest going on. No women at all. And of course, I was completely into myself at that moment. And I
Hmm.
said, I shall bring the women. And I went over to these different areas that had kind of gypsy groups that basically just do music, and they're all into the bardic art stuff, not necessarily the fighting. And I went and I
Hmm.
talked, and they all recognized me because I had that day, right? I mean, everyone was talking about me, and it's not like I had those days often, right? It was just
Right.
that moment, right? Everyone has their day, right? And
Yep.
I basically said, "Women, stand and come with me. We shall party into the night." I'm not shitting you. That's exactly what I said. And they laughed, and they all stood up and came with me, though. I was forever remembered as bringing girls to the party, and that is, as a young dude, that is the best thing you could possibly ever do.
Yeah.
Friends for life,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. You
And
win. Yep.
you win. And I used several of those condoms that I had got.
I
And
bet. Yeah.
but the problem was the tent that I was in I was sharing, so I didn't want to have a girl in the tent like that. So I took her down by the lake, and the moon was up, and it was kind of up, and it was a nice little thing. It just kind of did the old. Well, it's medieval times, right?
Yep.
Yeah. But when I came back with this girl, everyone's laughing. And I said, what the fuck? What are you laughing about? They're like, "Dude, your condom glows in the dark." I said, "Hell yeah, it does." And they said, "He is the lightsaber of love. His name shall be remembered." It was
Oh
funny.
no.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh no.
yeah. That's a true story, by the way. No bullshit. No exaggeration. That's exactly what happened.
Degeneracy.
Degeneracy.
Wanton degeneracy
Wanton.
from the bugbear.
Oh yeah. Well,
No,
we
it was a
go
good
on.
time. I talked myself out of buying a sword because they had some swords, axes, all the whole night. They even had
Some of those
a
are actually
replica.
handmade.
I know. Well, this one I don't think was, but it was pretty cool. They had a replica Frostmourne, and they had a replica Gorehowl, which WoW nerds will know what that is. Big
Right, right.
axe.
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh, I could own both of those. I wouldn't mind. They look fantastic. But yeah, no, some of them were really good. They had a couple. They had a replica of Geralt's swords, both his silver and his
Oh, right,
steel
right.
sword,
Well,
and
dude,
then just other just miscellaneous ones.
sure. Well, dude, in all honesty, what you should do is find the local SCA in your area and go
Mm-hmm.
down to one of their private events, weekends event. I guarantee you they have many of them throughout the year. Just go down to one. and just introduce yourself and just go. Easily welcome. It costs like, I don't know what it does now, but when I was young, it was like 7, 10 bucks each. It's not meant to make money. It's not profit, right? But
Right.
just to kind of cover various expenses they have. And you go down and check it out. You don't have to do it all the time, but go down occasionally. I guarantee you'll have a good old time. There's more couples than not. It's the big events that are debaucherous. The smaller
Mm.
events are mainly family things. And when if you're talking about wanting to buy stuff, the good stuff you find at those private events, because that's all
Yeah.
handmade stuff that the actual dudes are buying, right?
Right.
Yeah. So if you want some really good quality handmade armor, handmade swords, things like that, go to a private weekend. Yeah, yeah, seriously.
Interesting.
But no, SEA Renaissance fests are great fun, dude. Go to them, have fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty good. We'll definitely go again. We'll probably try and find a bigger one or a more, because this one was at a place where they have all sorts of festivals of all different kinds all the time,
Hmm.
and it was just it wasn't a huge one. It was, I don't even think it was $20 to get in. It was pretty cheap, but it was cool. They had all sorts of stuff. They had from jesters and jugglers and the whole deal, fire
Sure.
eaters, everything, a little bit of everything.
Yeah, it's
And like I
great,
said, the
dude.
sword fighting was really cool.
It is, and some of them are really ingenious in the ideas they come up for entertainment when you're doing
Yeah,
public ones. Private ones are more about the hobby. But
sure.
just to keep in mind, over in Pennsylvania, every, I think it's August or something like that, you have Penzix, and Penzix is so large that they're required by law to set up a post office and things like that, because you get 50 to 100,000 people showing up over the week of Penzix. That's no joke, dude. It's amazing, and of course, this is I big air quotes here. This is a private event, right?
Right,
And if you walk into a place that is just covered in these medieval buildings set up for just an event that happens 1 week a year or 2 weeks, I think it is. Um, and you have just entire fields covered in these amazing tent layouts and battlefields laid out. There's food stalls everywhere. There's all kind of wear stalls. There's theater plays. I mean, anything you can imagine going on during this thing, just where you basically find yourself in the Middle Ages all of a sudden, right? With a bunch of hobbyists. I mean, like a freaking 100,000 of them, dude. And like I said, the warriors, the fighters amongst the group are a smaller group, right? But still, Penzix will
right.
draw 10,000 more fighters on the field, dude. I mean, Jesus, right?
Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah, yeah. So if you guys enjoyed that, you might want to take a weekend over to Penzix this year.
Penzix, Pennsylvania, you said?
Well, the event's called Penzix. Penzic. I don't know what the area it's in offhand is called. I can't remember. It was a long time ago. But I went several times. It's in Pennsylvania. It's a gigantic monster event. It's the biggest one in the world for SCA.
Huh.
Yeah. And like I said, it's not a public event. I once again air quotes. You can go. It's just not set up
Oh.
for the general public like the one you went to.
Right, right.
So
Interesting.
and you got down in Atlanta around July. I think you have Fool's War, which is you get a good 10,000 people go to that event. That one's in this gigantic camping park, or I don't know.
Right.
It's like a camping park in Georgia, and it's just packed out, dude. At night, it's amazing. The bonfires everywhere. It's freaking cool, dude.
That's
Um,
cool.
yeah, it is. Yeah. Anyway, you got me on a tangent.
I did. I see that.
Yeah.
That's
I,
cool. Yeah, it was like I said, it was a good time. We all had a good time. The only problem is in the morning when we got there up until I don't know sometime in the early afternoon it was just raining. Not like pouring, but enough to be annoying. But other than that, it was a good time.
yeah, No, the Ren fairs are great. I suggest every go to them, have a good time. They're lots of fun, and you don't have to be do the nonsense that I did when I was a young man. Of course, now I wouldn't do anything like that. Now, of course, I'm a good boy, but yeah, I do like belly dancers. Hmm. Nevertheless, we're not here to talk about Ren fairs. We're here to talk about, movies and comic books and all that kind of stuff we usually get into. And of course, today we're going to talk a little bit more about the indie stuff. And not, indie stuff is kind of a very large category if we really think about it. There's a lot of stuff that's trying to be artiste, the Yoko Ono of films, and
Oh boy,
we
yeah.
don't need that crap. I mean, some
No,
people like it,
nobody,
but I don't care for it. But then,
nobody does.
but you have your kind of general lower budget stuff, which gets thrown into the indie umbrella, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
actually quite good, quite fun, and quite ambitious, which is what we want, right? And of course, AAA films are just suck and win like crazy, right?
Yeah.
And it's because they've created an environment. I watched several of reviewers who I respect talk about Furiosa, right? And
Mm-hmm.
they say, well, there's some things in it that aren't great, but overall, it's a pretty solid movie. It's a fun watch. Chris Hemsworth is loving it. So it's actually not a bad movie, and it doesn't sound like it's super woke, right? But
Right.
everyone has this perception. So as soon as they see it, was like, where's Max? One. And two, oh, another chick boss movie, a girl boss movie. And people didn't
Yeah.
go see it. So they've created this environment where people are just shunning female led movies completely, even though they might not be woke. Like this one, it really isn't. It's just George Miller wants to tell this character story. But they've
Right.
created the environment, right? That
The
is absolutely killing
expectation.
it. Yeah, yeah, they've
Yeah.
killed themselves. They shot themselves in the face, and it's kind of like, and then when you add on top of it, when they do put out propaganda, and it doesn't apply, like say, we keep going back to Dungeons and Dragons because they were really woken that up with the from the creators of it talking about it, right? And everyone was just like, we ain't gonna watch that crap. And of course, you and I did
Right.
see the movie, and it's got a few things in it, but it's overall a pretty good movie, man. There's a lot of love in
Yeah.
that movie. A lot of love.
Yeah. It's not bad at all.
But they
It was
came out
a
and
lot
promoted
better
it.
than it deserved to be. We'll call it. We'll put it that way.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. No, that's exactly the problem. And I said this before. I said the reason why but we'll take it over to the video games. When I was worried that Cyberpunk was going to be tits, right? It was going to be tits up. Wasn't going to be good. The reason wasn't anything to do technically or any rumors or this or that. Nope. It was simply because I knew they had been hiring lefty woke American marketing firms to do their marketing for them. And I'm like, oh, well, where there's smoke, there's fire, right? And that's a lot of smoke because that is how it's always the marketing that screws it up. Whether it's right or not, like you just said, it's what it is. The bell, it's the what's what I'm looking for. It's the what's the thing that spins
Bellwether.
in the wind? Yeah, bellwether. It is
Oh,
the
the
bellwether.
Telltale, you mean?
Yeah, yeah, sure. That works too. It is that. It is the sign. It is the one that'll tell you that it's going, that it's coming, that the storms are coming. Now, the problem is sometimes the storm doesn't happen. Sometimes it's a false alarm, like we were just saying. And it seems like it's more often than not a false alarm, to be honest. However,
Yeah.
these marketing departments are, so many of these marketing departments, marketing companies, are horrifically woke.
Oh yeah.
Horrifically
No,
woke.
really, really bad.
And that's why you have this. So they're out here telling them, hey, say this, do this. The PR people say this, do this. This will be good for it. Oh yeah, yeah. This is really you'll get a lot of attention or whatever nonsense they're saying, right?
Oh, they
And
get
yeah, okay,
attention, all right.
you'll get attention, and then nobody shows up and pays money to watch this
Right.
movie.
Yeah.
And now you have a pattern. See, now people have caught on to the pattern. Oh, it's got a chick leader, a chick lead. Nah, I'm good.
Right.
I even
Which
did this
is
the other day to a video
unfortunate.
game. Yeah, I was like, oh, it's got a chick lead. Nah, I'm good. I don't want to. I don't trust that anymore. You
Yeah.
can't.
See what
You
they did?
simply can't
See what they
trust it
did?
anymore.
And
There was a
I
time when I didn't care. In fact, I used to prefer playing chicks in a video
oh,
game
in a video game,
because,
sure.
yeah, my thinking was if I'm going to stare at someone's ass for
All
20
day.
hours or
Right,
whatever,
right.
yeah, I'd rather it be a chick.
No, that's a
So,
general rule. Yeah.
yeah,
You know,
and they've killed that.
they
Killed
have.
it.
And I do like to offer solutions. I don't want to just complain and not offer solutions. I always want to give solutions, right? And here's my
Right.
solution: get Mel Gibson, back up a truck full of money, and do an
Yep.
old man frickin' Max movie. What the hell's wrong with you? You want to pull people and put asses in the theater? Get Mel Gibson to do Old Man Max, dude. That will make
Yep.
you a shitload of money. Solutions.
It
Jesus.
would solve a lot of problems.
It's such a no-brainer. That would be a Barbie or Oppenheimer event. People would
It would
absolutely come back for that, dude.
it would be very similar to Old Man Logan. I think it would be that good. I
Oh
think it
yeah,
would
it could be.
really, if they did it well, and we know Mel can kill it even at his age. He can still kill it if he wants to.
Oh yeah.
If he's passionate about it. Um, I think it would be the perfect way to cap that off. Because
Yep.
most likely, once Miller's gone, that'll pretty much be. This is probably it anyway, unless they do that. If they can get that arranged, then they might have a chance at another Mad Max movie. But otherwise, I don't think you're going to see anything else ever in that universe. At least not from the OGs of it, right? Maybe there'll be some spin-off stuff later by whoever owns the rights and stuff. But
Well, it's
I
like
don't. I
the
think this is probably it.
well, it's like that idiot Jar Jar Abrams there, and
Yep.
Kathleen Kennedy. You have all three of the main stars. Well, and Chewie. It's not the original Chewie, but it's still Chewie. You have them all together, and you don't put them in a scene together.
Right.
What's wrong with you? I mean, exactly what's wrong with your brain? That's a no-brainer. If you're going to continue the Skywalker thing, then, give the member berries where they're due, right?
Right.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
It's the same thing with like I see a lot of dumb decisions in Hollywood. Like for instance, Warner Brothers, HBO, where they call it Max now,
Mm-hmm.
which I don't know why, because HBO was battling against Cinemax forever, and now you want to change HBO into I'm confused, right? But nevertheless, they're doing a Harry Potter thing, and I was like, oh okay, because there's a lot of meat on that bone, dude. There's a you still
Oh
She's
yeah.
still around. She's a very skilled writer. I mean, she can be annoying, but she knows how to put that aside and write a story, though, right?
Yes.
She's really good at what she does. And I think people are hungry for a greater look at the world, the wizarding world itself, right? You don't need
Right.
Harry at all. Go do something else. Do something in the past. If you want Harry, I mean, Radcliffe hasn't got much of a career going on. I mean, he's tried, but he doesn't have one. Go throw a reasonable amount of money at him and do an Aurora series. He's older. It's perfect. You could
Yep.
do it episodically because it's a cop show really, magical cop show. You could do that, but let's see some other things inside the wizarding world, right? But no, what are they doing over at Max, HBO Max? They're basically remaking Harry Potter as a
Yep.
as a as a series. And I'm like, are you stupid? I mean, what the hell's wrong with you? First of all, the original Harry Potter movie series holds up really well. Looks great. Looks better than
Yep.
a lot of shit we got today. The acting is
Yeah.
phenomenal. I mean, the kids aren't so great, but it doesn't matter because the supporting characters around are amazing, right? And we don't need any more Harry Potter stuff unless you're continuing the story. But they're literally remaking the whole thing, and it's like, why would you waste your time and money on this? Everyone's going to compare it to the original. It's not going to hold up. Not going to hold up because you don't have the same caliber of actors available to you right now than that they did. What was that, 20 years ago, whatever it was, right?
Over 20 now, but yes.
You know what I mean? You just don't have that available to you, right?
Yep.
And it's just dumb. I mean, especially the Fantastic Beasts thing was a good idea. Let's see something else. But the problem is, they had bad writers. They didn't have any. It was disjointed, and they had to woke it up. And if you
Yep.
just kind of told a singular story, you would have had more success. But oh no, you got to convolute it, right? And I'm just saying, I just can't believe they're wasting that kind of time and money. Who wants a remake of Harry Potter? Anybody put their hand up for that? Anybody?
The only thing I can figure the plan, if you will, is to inject more and more woke bullshit in. That's the only thing that makes sense. Is they want to scalp, right? Because by
Well,
and
maybe.
large, she kept it out of it. I mean, there's some of that stuff in there, but it's not really. It's
No, no,
super
no.
subtle.
She went for the money. Thank you
Yeah,
for that, Miss Rollins. But no, you're
yeah.
probably right. They're going to make Harry dumb and stupid, and Hermione's the guy. I'm sure that's what they're going to do. Bob's
Right, and
going to say something.
what they'll say about it is they'll say that they want because she originally wanted to make Hermione the main character,
I think she did.
but
Yeah,
somebody told her that that probably wouldn't work,
I think she told
and
herself.
well, because she's not dumb,
No, she's a pretty smart lady. Yeah.
so she figured out like people won't like this character if it's the main character. If it's not the main character, people will like her, and everybody I don't think anybody dislikes Hermione.
Oh
She's
no,
fine.
Hermione is absolutely the self-centered, know everything, busybody bitch girl, and
Yeah,
she's
we
perfect
all
for
know
that.
her.
No, she's
Yeah, we all
perfect.
know her.
Yeah.
We
And
all know
Ron,
that girl.
Ron's your
Everybody knows that girl.
right, and Ron's your dumbass buddy, who buddy's
Yeah.
eternally faithful.
Ron is basically Sam, right? He's not
Yeah, he's
exactly the
Samwise.
smartest guy, but he'll never turn his back on you, right? Uh, and I think that what she ended up doing was leaning into very traditional, very typical archetypes, and it works. And then she builds a great world around them, which is really, I think, the thing about Harry Potter that is attractive to most people. Most people who enjoy it at any level,
Mhm.
it's that world. As she calls it, the wizarding world. Her world building is phenomenal. Clearly, I mean, she
Oh,
made
she's
billions of
great.
dollars off of it.
That's what I
Yeah,
mean. I want more of that. And sorry if you
yeah.
can hear the siren in the background here. Some city got blown up like 80 years ago somewhere. But whatever. Um,
No, it's fine. We can't. I can't hear it, so maybe
that's
they
good.
can, but I
Well,
can't
I
hear
do
it.
have noise canceling headsets, so it may be. But
Yeah, yeah.
I'm supposed to be showing respect and reverence, and
Well, here's
but
what's crazy to me is,
oh, there we
you
go
know,
again.
they
There we go. There goes again.
we've mentioned before there are other places in the lore of Harry Potter that don't really get addressed at all in anything, right? Like they're just kind of mentioned, right? They're just there's a school here, and or they also had the other schools come in, in that one part.
That was
Well,
great.
why not tell
I
it?
love
Yeah, why
that.
not tell a story at one of them schools?
Yeah. Well,
Why not?
why
Let's
don't we
see them.
go back in time and see how the Wizarding world
Let's see Merlin.
organized itself? Yeah, let's see Merlin. Let's go back and maybe how was Hogwarts? Those four,
Go to the founding of
the
Hogwarts.
founding
Why
of
not?
Hogwarts.
Let's meet Slytherin.
Um,
Let's meet Gryffindor. Let's meet these guys.
right. I
Why
mean,
not?
there's so many things you could do
Yeah.
with her world building and the ideas behind it, and that British humor, that British sensibility, right?
Right.
It's there's just a ton of stuff, man. There's money hanging,
Just
and
sitting there,
just
waiting
sitting
for
there,
someone to see.
and
It's kind of like what they did with Star Wars, where it wasn't fully canon, I guess, but George signed off on most of it, like the expanded universe stuff. Uh, she should definitely let somebody do that for Harry Potter. Let some other writers get in there, get in the past. Don't touch the main stuff, of course, but get in the past and just see if they can do anything cool. You've built a
yeah,
framework for them. Let them play. Let some other people get in there, and she'll oversee it, of course, and just let
well,
them
she's
play.
going to
If
get
they get
paid, so
yeah, and you're gonna make money. It will sell, especially if it's approved by J.K. Rowling Harry Potter book set 300 years before the story or something. Why not?
yeah.
What's to lose?
No, I just
What's
think
to
there's so
lose?
much meat there.
Yeah,
And yeah, and I mean, Bob made a few good, interesting comments here I want to catch up on. And he goes back to what we were talking about. He says it's the beaten dog syndrome. How many
yeah,
times can you kick a dog before it stops coming back? Yeah,
correct.
they have fomented this apathy. Yes, they have, Bob.
Wasn't Bob? Didn't Bob have a wrench? You take his wrench, or did he not have one? And I'm just misremembering.
I don't know. I
I
don't
thought he
think
did.
I haven't given a wrench in a while, but I'll give Bob a wrench if that's what you want.
I swear he did. I could be
So
wrong,
here
but
we
I
go.
swear he was blue before.
I'm gonna make
I
him
mean, I
the. I'm gonna make him an
say.
ultra moderator. Now he's gonna send us to the dogs.
Uh
All
oh.
right,
He's
you
kicking
have all
everybody
the
out.
power. You are the ultra power guy, Bob.
But
Swing
I
the
like
hammer,
that. I like
Bob.
that. the most powerful man in the realm. His name's Bob.
There he
What's
is.
up, Bob?
There he is. And I didn't make him a standard moderator. I made him a managing moderator. So he kicked me out. There
There it is. That pretty blue. Look at that pretty blue color.
he is.
Gotta love it.
Oh no, I'm a bastard. He's coming after me. He's coming after me.
No, I think it's. I think she's almost doing herself a disservice. One of the things about the Hogwarts game, Hogwarts Legacy, that came out, that was so good, is that they did exactly that. They went back 100 years
Yep.
from Harry Potter, and they just told a story back then that will have very little to no consequences on anything in the current story,
Yeah. And
but
people
it
loved it.
still fits. Oh, I love that game.
Mega
That
hit,
game's
dude.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that game's really good. Uh, and they even had it. They had a trans in there, and they did all this, and it's whatever, fine. But if you make something that's good, everybody, well, most everybody, will ignore that stuff, or they'll, whatever that stuff,
Or
right?
if you make
As
it
long as it's
likable.
good. Yeah, and she was likable. I don't know. I don't remember what the gender was. They were likable. This person was likable. Was an interesting character. One of the things that that game did very well, and I think this is a credit to the universe as much as it is the game, is it, for me anyway, I actually liked exploring. And it's very rare in a game where I like that. Usually I get real bored real quick in a video game if I'm exploring, unless it's done very, very well. In this game, it was done very, very well. It encouraged it, but it did it subtly, and it just, I don't know. It was a fun thing to do. It was fun to do the little puzzles. Like, usually that kind of stuff in that type of game, I get very disinterested in very quickly. But for some reason, that one had me hooked. And I think part of that is the world building. The fact that Hogwarts is such a cool setting.
Yeah.
The fact that, the Scottish Highlands around it were interesting. That sort of stuff, obviously, is to the game maker's credit, of course, but it's also to her credit. She built that world. She created that world.
She did.
And I just think, I don't know. I know she's got enough money, right? She's got like almost $2 billion or something like that now.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
She's doing all right. She's doing all right. But I think you could do something real special. Like you said, you could do it with a show. We could do it with a book. You could do it with another game, which I would imagine they're going to make eventually because that one made a ton of money. You could do some really special stuff if you just went back in time in that world. I would love to see a canon, non-canon version of the founding of Hogwarts. Let's see it. Let's see Slytherin and why he was such a creep. Right? Let's see it all.
Right. Or
because
was he?
in that, or yeah, maybe that's propaganda. Maybe he wasn't as bad as everybody says. Because we know that some of the things that are considered, just pure evil by the time Harry Potter comes around, especially the curses, right? The unforgivable spells or whatever they're called. Those weren't that way until like basically 150, 100 years or so before that story. So up until that point, people were just using them whenever they, whatever. There was no law against it. There was no real taboo against it. And so that's interesting because you could do interesting things with Slytherin as a character, especially one who we're supposed to think of as nearly irredeemable, right? He's supposed to be like right on that edge, but not all the way over it, I guess.
Right.
And that's interesting, especially in this world that's very wholesome for the most part. It has some dark stuff here or there, but most of the characters are pretty wholesome. It's interesting to have one who's the opposite.
Right.
And it's one of the things she did very well with like Voldemort and some of the other villains, but especially Voldemort. He just didn't fit in the world, period. That's how evil he was. Like
Right.
the world
It was
itself was
beautifully
pretty
done.
good.
It was beautifully done.
Yes.
And they could go
Yes.
back to the 19th century because at that time
Oh,
in her cosmology, magic and the Muggles were not separated, right?
right.
Because you got to keep in mind the Harry Potter world is not our world; it's an Elf's world, right?
Right.
Um, you know, people know magic exists. It's not this incredibly hidden thing. The average person ignores it or laughs at it, sure, but it's not that much. It's not like our world, right?
Right.
And if you go back to the 19th century, the magic world and the Muggle world were right up against each other, right?
Right.
So you could do
Yep.
some interesting things. So I mean, there's a lot of shit that could be done, and I guarantee you, there's a lot of writers, like you said, that would love the opportunity to get in on that. because that's kind of a free ticket. And just make sure you have a board of people with Rollins on it that are making sure only the best goes through, and start putting out these lower budget things. Do keep in
Yep,
mind, and she should do it in house in a way, because one thing that the BBC has kind of gone south, of course, but one thing the British do really, really, really well are period pieces.
they do.
They're
It's
really
true.
set up well for that. It looks great. You could do some 19th century thing. You could do like a 16th, 17th, 18th century thing,
Yep.
and they would pull it off great. And you could do it, where the British are making money off of it, and of course it's in-house, so it's going to be a little bit cheaper. And you could do some, more simpler, low-budget things, and have a lot of fun with it. And it's really unfortunate that we're having big money thrown at it right now, but it's to remake it, and it's like it's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Why the hell would you remake it? It's like trying to remake the Lord of the Rings. Oh, wait.
Yeah. Oops. Whoopsie. Oops a doodle. Um, yeah. No. It's sometimes we have this saying, Chester. Sometimes it's best to let sleeping dogs lie.
Yeah, and
Why
not
are we
kick
waking
them.
this dog?
Don't
Yeah,
beat
don't
them.
kick the
No,
dog.
don't
What
beat
does the
them.
dog do? Why are we kicking this dog?
And
Just let
Roger,
the dog sleep.
don't say that shit to Bob. He's maniacal. Okay. Um. Anyway, let's get over here
you
and take a look
you
at.
gave him power. I
I
had
did.
nothing to do
I
with it.
did.
I'm
But
innocent.
it's my greater. It's the greater plan, Thundero. You have to understand. I'm going to start out with. We're going to have fun today. We
Oh,
go through a stretch of complaining about dumb shit, and there's always dumb shit to complain about. But today I want to have a little bit of fun, if that's okay.
ah,
So
I
what do we
like
got
it.
here, Thundero?
We have, according to this list here,
Mm-hmm.
according to this
The
list,
CBR
the
list.
10 best Shutter movies since 2020 ranked.
Now that's
Is
a
what we
short
have.
window. It's like
Yeah,
5 years.
not even 4.5.
Yeah, 4.5. Now Shutter does put out some good films. The one right there in the middle, I'll talk about when I get to it because I have seen it.
Yep,
But Shutter it's an online horror. I don't really go to it, but they make horror movies. I think you can also watch horror movies there, right?
I
And
believe.
I think it's dedicated to horror movies, and I'm pretty sure it's like a Netflix, uh, but for horror movies only. Excuse me. But as with Netflix, they make a lot of their own stuff as well, right? So we're going to take a look at the movies they have made, and like I said, this one I've seen here in the middle. I have seen this one, and spoilers. Wow. Okay, here we go. See what we got. So yeah, it's American streaming service. Yeah, containing only horror movies. Yeah, thrillers, supernatural types. There you go. Okay. Um,
Interesting.
now number 10 here. Now I haven't seen this one, but I've heard about it. The Red Letter Media guys talked about it. Skinamarink traps two young kids in a waking nightmare. Now, this is not a movie for the average person. It's just not. Um, it's um, it's very weird and surreal. There's long periods of time where you have it's kind of like a found footage where the camera is just looking at nothing.
Right.
It's a bizarre thing. Like I said, I've seen clips from it, and I watched Red Letter Media. It's not a type of thing I would indulge in personally. But over there, you got Mike, you got what's his name, Ray. What's the shorter, smaller, bearded guy's name?
I do not know.
You got Rich Evans. You got a whole bunch of guys over there. But I like those guys. They're kind of middle of the road. They're a bit more liberal than we are. But they're
Hmm.
not. But they're normal, classic liberals. They're not stupid, right?
They're not psychotic. Gotcha.
No,
Yeah.
and they kind of laugh at all the nonsense that goes on these days. It's in a way similar to what we do. Nevertheless, it's the kind of thing there that I think his name's Ray, that he really, really likes. I'm not sure if this is something. I haven't taken a bite at it yet. Do you know about this movie?
I do not.
Yeah.
I do not at all. I like I said, you're in a like I've said before, I don't watch a lot of horror movies nowadays. So, but I've heard that we're getting a. I don't want to say a renaissance. That's a big word, but we're getting maybe a slight rebirth of actual horror movies in the last few years. So I might have to check them out again. Because the
Give it
'80s
a
turned
shot.
everything into slasher movies. You know?
They do. But you see how it's this kind of film. You see, it's like this.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of weird, but it creates a good
Sense of
tension, a good
Give it
sense
a
of
sense of
shot.
dread.
yeah. I'm gonna have to. This is not working well. But anyway, Skinamarink. Yeah, it's a weird flick. But I know you're not the biggest horror movie fan. I am. I love horror
Yeah.
movies, and I know there's a couple
Well,
on this list that are really good.
I love old ones. If you give me one from like basically mid '80s back,
Oh,
I'm
well,
good.
then I got a movie for you coming up.
Yeah.
I do.
When they
But
were still horror movies, when they messed with your head, that's what
yeah,
I
yeah.
liked.
Well, my son, he was pretty young, but we watched Paranormal Activity, the original,
Oh yeah.
and that movie absolutely broke that boy. He was
It messed me up for a
terrified.
little bit too. That was pretty good. They did a pretty good job of building tension.
They did.
That's what a lot of these movies don't do well. They don't really build tension, or they build tension only to a jump scare, which is like that's like a climax. You're done now. All the tension's gone. You just filtered it all out. Whereas if you're doing it right, in my opinion, in an actual horror movie to horrify somebody, it should be building the whole film.
Right,
There should
and
always be tension going, growing.
that's all this movie is.
Yeah.
So, Skinamarink, yeah, it's a questionable one. But it is a movie, and keep in mind a lot of the Shutter movies get attention at these film festivals. By the way,
Yeah.
okay, number 9 here. Number 9, Speak No Evil already has a remake in the works. Speak No Evil. I did watch this movie. Have you seen it?
Commas. I have not.
Yeah, they don't. They're not big on the commas, are they? Um,
Uh-uh.
um,
So it's James McAvoy. That's interesting.
I'm trying to remember. Yeah, but I don't think he was in the original. He's in the remake.
Yeah, he's remaking it.
Yeah, it's originally Danish, I guess. I think this is the one. Let me see I know I've seen it. Let's see here. Speak No Evil is a 2020 Danish independent horror film that ignited sparks, and the title sounds familiar. Upcoming, of course, they're going to remake it into Evil in America. Was such a successful film in just 2 short years, inspired tells a couple who meet another couple uh, on holiday, have a daughter, and Patrick and Karen have a son who was born without a tongue. The Dutch couple. Oh no, I haven't seen this one. I haven't seen this one. I have not seen it.
Interesting.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I was thinking of another movie, but yeah, this has gotten some attention. I know what it is now. It's in my head now. This movie is harsh.
It's a
It
tough
is.
one.
I haven't seen it, but I do know about it, and it's pretty harsh. And the evil in this is the greatest evil that you can have, which of course is man,
Interesting.
right?
Yeah. Well, hopefully. Hopefully that's the worst out there because we're pretty bad.
Yeah,
We're
no, we're
pretty
really
terrible.
bad.
So if
We're
there's
really
worse
bad.
than us, we're in for a treat.
Well, I mean,
It's
other
not going to be
than
pretty.
the supernatural, right? But I can't
Yes.
speak on this too much. I haven't seen this one, but I know it's getting a lot of attention, and they're doing remakes on it so already. So I
Hollywood's
don't know.
jumping on it, so they
They
must have done
are.
something right.
Well, and sometimes that works out for you, right? Like the original Japanese Ring is certainly better
Yes.
than the American one. It is.
Yeah, it
But the
is.
American one's watchable, at least the first one.
Yeah, it'll screw with you a little bit, especially if you're in the wrong state of mind while watching it. And it
Right.
was in that era where right when VHS was really at its almost its zenith and was on its way down.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was just kind of a perfect level of, oh well, this is kind of like old school but not old school. They just hit a perfect balance
They
of
did.
that
They
feeling,
did.
of that sense. Because when things like that happen, when big technology formats, start to come and go, you can kind of feel it if you know what to pay attention to. Like when CDs kind of went out of style. You can kind of feel like in the culture, in the air, in the I guess you would call it the spirit of the people. Thing that change is also a little bit. People don't like change, so there's a little tension, is what I'm saying. So when you play into that with something like a VHS, whether you're doing it intentionally or not, you've hit a nerve, whether you realize it or not, which they probably did, and that allows people to have a little bit extra. It
Right.
stands your hair up a little bit more,
Right.
right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, and the original Japanese one is a freaking masterpiece. It is.
Yeah.
It is 100% a masterpiece. Like I said, and of course, by now with all the remakes and sequels and crap, it's just they've destroyed it both here in Japan and overseas. But the original one and the American first one, like I said, I you should watch the Japanese one, but the American one's watchable. On the other hand, you have something like The Grudge or Ju-on in Japanese,
Right.
where I believe the American remake is actually better than the original Japanese.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah.
That's probably true.
And that's so remakes, American remakes can be good, but then you have examples that go the other way. Let the Right One In, which I think was Dutch or Norwegian or Swedish or something like that. It's a little vampire movie.
Mm,
One of the best modern vampires movies we've had in a long time, as far as good movies go. The American
right.
remake sucks balls.
Terrible.
It's horrible. Yeah. Whereas Abigail, not this is not talk about remakes anymore, but the recent Abigail, it's got a couple of dumb things in it, but it's a fun little movie. I suggest you go see it. All right.
Interesting.
Yeah. But I don't know this one. I should watch it. It's definitely my kind of thing. How
Host,
host?
comma. I think Host is the name of this.
Yeah, it
And
is
it
host.
was
Now,
a frighteningly realistic during the was a fright. Was this written by a Chinese person and then translated to English?
I think
Because
so.
what's going on here?
Yeah.
Was a frighteningly realistic something during the pandemic.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
not good. It's not good. Now, actually, this movie didn't do very well, to be honest with you. And of course, it also has the name of a great Korean movie. I don't like the sound of the Korean language, but I suffered through it for the host. It's a monster movie, and it's great. I don't. This one didn't do very well. And like I said, it's another one I haven't seen. Ooh, I thought there'd be because I don't look at these lists before I talk about them, right?
Yeah.
I imagine there was going to be more on here that I knew. Not a good start, guys. I haven't seen any of
No.
these, although I did know Skinamarink. The first two I know. I don't know this one well, but I do know it.
Oh, that one's only 57 minutes.
Yeah, it's short.
That's a
Yeah.
short one.
Okay,
That might be
Watcher.
good then.
It might be. Now,
Yeah.
this is this is just the what was that Alfred Hitchcock movie?
Oh, I knew you were going to ask me this question.
Uh,
Um.
damn it.
Oh, come on. It's one of my favorite movies. Well, one of my favorite of his anyway.
Well, they've remade
Um.
that movie so many times.
Oh, 1,000 different ways. Yeah, they've done that one. Even TV shows have done that over and over and over again. Um. Oh, come on. All right, that's
Yeah,
it. I'm gonna
check
have
it
to
out. Yeah, because
because
it's
this has been a bug mate.
the rear view mirror. Is it? No. Damn it. Yeah, I can't remember it either. But they've redone that a billion times. This is the same kind of thing. I actually did hear.
Okay,
What is it?
I think it's Rear Window. Let me
Rear
double check.
Window. No, you're right. You're right. It's Rear Window.
Yeah, Rear Window.
Um, basically, Watcher, I have heard some good things about this. And basically, what you have here is an American couple moving to an apartment in the Bucharest, Romania. There's your first mistake. Okay. Their apartment has a large picture window in it, which allows them to clearly see apartment across the way, of course, rear window. Unfortunately, that also means that the man occupying the apartment can see them perfectly. The dude works a lot, leaving Julia home alone quite often. Okay. So yeah.
Yep,
But like I heard this one actually was a pretty good take on the Hitchcockian classic.
that's good.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a good time run too. It's a standard hour and a half, which is what a movie should be. Let's be honest, right?
Yes,
So
yeah. Doesn't usually need to be much more than that. If we're being
Yeah,
honest.
but once again, there's only one on this list, host, which I don't really know. But I haven't seen any of these dudes so far. Okay, here we go. VHS. Have you watched any of this series? There's a whole bunch of them.
Um, yes, I believe so, but I don't know which one it was. I can't. It was a long time.
Yeah,
It
I
was
saw one. I think it was the
probably.
original. Yeah.
It had to be when I was still in high school, so it's been a long time.
Now this one here is getting a lot of praise. This is a prequel set up to what happened in the first one, and this is kind of like a zombie-esque movie. Yeah. And
Yeah,
it's not bad. It's found footage zombie thing. People trapped in a building with zombies, and there are a whole bunch of them. This one right here is really getting a lot of noise as being the best, which is saying a lot. It's a very popular series. Uh, I'm kind of zombied out, and I've been zombied
yeah,
out since frickin'
yeah.
Romero, so I don't really watch many zombie movies. Here's another one. I've seen the first one in the series. I haven't seen the new one, but I have heard about it. This is movie is making a lot of noise, which is what this list is. It's Shutter movies that's getting attention, and they all are. So, but I should probably go back and watch it. You know, it is a
Right.
very popular series. Nothing here so far really to talk about. Hopefully, I'll get to one I want here in a minute. Influencer. Yeah, I don't even want to look at it. I'm not going to look at it. Okay. In a violent nature. Now, this one right here. Um, this is you go ahead and read the title.
In a violent nature puts the audience in the killer's perspective. That's
Now,
interesting.
we've seen movies do this somewhat. Like we
Yeah,
see from Jason's eyes sometimes, right? But this movie, the whole movie is from the killer's perspective. There was a one-shot kill scene in this movie that it took them a long time to get that on film. You know how one-shots go, right?
right.
Which is why they love cutting and editing. But they had a one-shot kill scene in this movie that was so bad and brutal. They just nothing they could do with editing could get this away from an NC-17. So they had to cut it completely out of the movie, and it's still hard R, right?
They
So
couldn't get it all the way
They
around it,
they
huh?
they couldn't, and so that'll be in the director's cut, I'm sure. Here, let me go ahead and I'll do this again, even though it doesn't work very well. This player doesn't work very well. What are you doing, CBR? I thought you was something. I thought you was something.
There's
IFC
something, all right.
IFC Films, of course.
I don't see why they couldn't just embed the YouTube videos, but hey,
Yeah, right. They're too uppity.
apparently it's
Yeah,
beneath them.
I'm not gonna ask you again.
Peasantry, the peasantry of YouTube.
yeah.
But one of these days, you're gonna find something that's gonna walk right through your traps. Trust me, you don't want to find that animal.
You guys never heard of the
Interesting,
White
huh?
Pine Slaughter?
The what?
The White
That's
Pine
a
Slaughter.
great shot, actually.
It
That's
is a
beautiful
great shot, dude.
cinematography.
Yeah, it
Just
is.
tell us the
Yeah.
story.
You guys really want to hear it?
Yeah.
Come on. All right, buckle up.
What are you doing sitting there whining? Get up and die like a man.
Something's not right, man. Get it through your head. You don't know what you just did. It's the only thing holding
Dude,
his
some
soul
of the shots in
rest.
this are really
You
good,
can't. He's
huh?
awake now.
Yeah, yeah. He's got whoever this director is. He has a good eye.
He does. Yeah, I've been hearing a lot about this movie, actually. This is making a lot of noise past me, so
Oh,
yeah.
interesting. That axe throw reminded me. When we were at the Renaissance Fair, we did a little axe throwing competition, and my wife won. She beat all of us.
Of course. Yeah. Oh, those
She's
are
very
fun.
good
I
at
used
it.
to love doing that, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I got to see this movie. This coming out just came out,
Yep.
just out. But I've been hearing a lot of
Theatrical
noise about
release.
this, so very cool.
The good thing about these types of movies is they're cheap. You can make them very cheaply.
Yeah, no, horror movies. That's why there's more horror movies than any other genre, because they're cheap to
Yep.
make. Yeah, a lot of filmmakers start with horror. So many,
Johnny. His name's Johnny, apparently.
of course. But yeah, obviously it's inspired by Friday the 13th, obviously. But I want to see it. I like these kind of movies. I like the supernatural touch.
Yeah.
I'm
I've
kind of done with
often
the Marvel.
advocated, and I think it works when they've done it the few times they've done it, is giving a supernatural touch to the Joker and just kind of make him, he just is. He's just a force of chaos and murder.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's true. This movie here, Infested, plays on the common fears of spiders. Now, I
See,
thought
do you have arachnophobia at all? Do spiders bug you?
not at all.
As long as they don't crawl on me, I'm good.
Well, even
Right?
then,
If they're on me, then it's like, get off of me. But other than that, I don't care.
yeah,
But my brother-in-law, he will squeal like a little girl if he sees a spider.
yeah. My
He
family is
is
the same way.
terrified.
I always had to go pick them up, put them outside. But there are certain spiders you should be careful around. Black
Yeah,
widows, recluse,
yeah.
brown recluse, stuff like that. I mean, obviously, don't be stupid. But no, they don't bother me. But I did
It
see
seems the
this.
bigger the spider, the better off. Usually, typically in America anyway, better off you are. They're scarier because they're huge, but they won't really mess with you, right?
Uh,
They just want to be warm.
yeah. Maple Chic says Chester's going to tell us his one time in a summer camp story. I wish I had one, dude. I've been to summer camp, but they were all kind of boring. Mainly I went to church camp.
Yeah,
That's probably why.
yeah, me too. Yeah, it wasn't a great. I hated it, to be honest.
Yeah,
Hated it.
hated it. I short sheeted a guy once.
Oh, see, sinner.
Sinner, horrible. I kissed a girl out the back once.
Oh my! Wait a minute. Do you mean around the back, or was this a totally different experience?
No, in the back of the building.
Ah, okay.
That's weird. I may be degenerate, but I'm not. I'm not a creep. God. Um, all right.
Listen, lightsaber cock. I don't want to hear it. All right.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right. But anyway, Infested and Sting. I saw them both. This is a better
Interesting.
movie than Sting. This is a French movie. They're very similar movies. Matter of fact, so much so that I feel like the pseudo made in Australia but yet supposed to be American Sting might have got wind of this French movie and decided to kind of jump the gun on it.
No.
Yeah, I have a feeling. But this is a much better movie than Sting. Sting's fine. The spider effects in it are better than this one. But the problem with Sting is there's no one in it who's likable.
Yep.
It's just no one is likable. The little girl who is supposed to be your protagonist is the most unlikable creature you've ever seen. She's just a typical nasty, mouthy, dumbass girl who caused the entire trouble, right? It's just, unfortunately, if we had a likable character in it, it would have been better. This movie is better. It's a French movie, however. Take that as you like. But yeah, this movie gets kind of crazy, and I would suggest it. You can watch Sting too, but it's just you're not going to enjoy anybody in it. You're just not, right? This movie is much more
Right.
enjoyable. Yeah, basically, the premise you have here, there's a guy, and we don't know. The movie starts out with somewhere in the Middle East, and they're collecting spiders. And this guy's in a shop, and he picks up a spider for his collection. He lives with his sister in a rundown apartment building in France, and just the kind of low life, poor people trying to survive type of situation. There's thugs and gang peoples and stuff like that. Of course, it's a French movie. French and British movies these days can't make them without having a bunch of degenerates in it, right?
Yeah.
But basically, this spider isn't normal. It gets out, it gets in the walls, starts reproducing at ridiculously mammoth rates, and just starts killing everything. And a small group of them have to fight their way out of the building to survive. But by the time they're trying to get out, the cops are there, and they're not letting them out, and more chaos ensues. That's it. But it's a fun movie. It's just French. So
French people.
Yeah. You haven't seen it, I'm assuming.
No,
Yeah.
I have not.
Yeah. This one's definitely better than Sting, though. Cool.
When evil lurks is an interesting twist on demonic possession.
That's a better sentence.
Yeah. Yeah. At least it is a sentence this time,
Yeah.
not just nonsense with words. Word
Have
nonsense.
I seen this one? Let me check it out here for real quick. I don't know if I've seen this one. Why do you suck so much, CBR?
It's pretty terrible. Pretty ass.
All right, this looks British. Damn goat. Stupid
Tell
goat.
that goat.
You know, I understand. I 100% understand. You got to deal with them goats. I have not seen this movie. But you know the thing is, from the trailer, I automatically know what's going on, don't I? Yeah, I haven't seen this movie. I automatically know what's happening. The evil is transferring, and they have to kill it and kill themselves to stop it. All right. How many movies do this? So many.
Too many.
My favorite,
Far too many.
my favorite movie that does the passing possession thing is Azazel with Denzel Washington and John Goodman, and that movie is
Fallen.
spectacular.
Yeah.
Fallen. If you haven't seen that, go watch that. Fallen is one of Denzel and John Goodman's best movies, dude.
John Goodman as a villain, well,
It's
spoilers, is so, he needs to, I wish the man had gotten himself in better shape over the years, because he could have been any villain in anything. He's so good. John Goodman's one of the best living actors.
He is
He
good.
genuinely is.
Yeah.
And every time he's a villain, he absolutely eats. He just clearly, look at him. He feasts like you wouldn't believe. Like he's like a conquering hero and having a big smorgasbord.
He is, and he's in that. He's a bad guy in that Cloverfield movie.
Yep.
So you know
he's a bad guy. Well, he's one of the bad guys in The Gambler too. If you've never seen The Gambler,
yeah,
it's a Mark Wahlberg movie. I know, but it's a good Mark Wahlberg movie, and it's got him as one of the bad. He's not really the antagonist, but he's definitely not a good guy.
No, he's a bad.
And he is. He tells him he'll kill his entire bloodline, and even I was like, oh, even I got scared. I'm like, oh, holy shit.
Now, Mark Wahlberg has plenty of good movies. Thank you very much.
He does. He does.
Yeah. Well,
but he also has a lot of Mark Wahlberg movies where he's just Mark Wahlberg.
He does. But you know, there is one, what you mean by Mark Wahlberg movies, but it's actually a good one, is The Big Hit. Because
it's pretty good.
In that movie, Lou Diamond Phillips is amazing in that movie. But in that movie, he's playing the soft-spoken, effeminate Mark Wahlberg character. But that movie is so epically fun. It really is. If you haven't seen The Big Hit, it's an old one. But go check it out. Because Lou Diamond you talk about chewing scenery. But I don't know this movie. Hadn't seen it. It's not unique. Clearly, we know what's going on. Yeah. Let's keep going on here. Yeah. I probably will end up watching it anyway.
Yep.
Oh, here we go. Number 1.
Late Night with the Devil.
Continue.
Is a horror masterpiece, apparently. I just like that. That's a fantastic title. I'm hooked by the title, apparently.
Well, they are correct.
So is it like a late night show with the devil? Like, is that word, or is this a play on word? Is this a literal title, or is this a play on words?
I'm going to lay it out, and I'm not going to spoil it because I want you guys to go watch it if you haven't. This is This is one of the best low budget movies that has been done in decades.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my. Oh my.
It is a horror-esque movie. It's more of psychological than it is, blood and guts. It's much more psychological, which is
that's what I like. You're speaking my language. Yep.
but it's just so well done. There's some stuff at the end that certain people kind of complaining about, but me, I love it. I love it. Basically, this is what you got. This fella here, okay, he has a Johnny Carson style show back in the 70s, and he joined a Bohemian Grove type of group, right? And therefore was set up for success. And
Yeah.
he has his show, and it does pretty well for a while. He's the the almost, but he's never the top guy. But he's almost the top guy. He's like number two guy or number three guy, right? But he's been trying to plotting it out for years and years and years. Their ratings are dropping, and they're near cancellation. And he's trying to think of some way to revitalize his show, Night Owls, which of course is apropos, right? Because here we are the
Right.
Night Owls, as you see the sign behind him, his show. And he brings on a friend of his, which it kind of wink winks at that maybe he's got something going on with her. But she's a psychologist, psychiatrist, a psychologist, I guess. She's dealing with children. And there's a girl who was basically the only survivor of a fire, of a burn down of a cult, Anton LaVey-esque cult. And they're bringing her on because she is supposedly possessed by the devil or a devil. And they're bringing her on, and it's a Halloween special, and they got like a mentalist comes on. They got a guy who wants to debunk all this shit on, and of course then they have the girl come on, and just the entire process of it's a found footage film, but then you also have kind of behind the scenes stuff that's happening during commercial break as well, right? It's not found footage in that way. It's just the a copy of that night show survived, however many years we're supposed to be after it. That's all I'm going to say. It's freaking fantastic. This movie is so well done. How long has it been since we have just a great little movie? And this movie was cheap, dude. This movie didn't cost anything to make. The biggest star is the Polka Dot Man here. No one else is really that big a star. And let's see here. It's director Cameron Kiernes and Colin Kiernes, a brothers team, or probably a brothers team, or could be husband and wife. But whatever it is, these guys knocked it out the park. Go watch this movie.
Where can we watch it? What's up?
Where? I'm sure
I
you
mean,
can find
obviously
it
it's
anywhere.
on Shutter, but usually if you go down, it'll say, at least it did in the other ones, where you can watch it at. No,
No,
nothing. No,
but
it's
I'm
a
sure
mystery
you
on
can
this one.
find it. I usually just go
Well,
to
it just came out, so it's got to be
yeah.
around somewhere.
I probably watched it on. It must have been on Amazon, or I got it off the Finnish databases probably.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll find it. I like everything you're saying to me. It sounds kind of like a horror twist in a way, not totally, but in a way of like Network or one of those. That one wasn't trying to be a period piece. That was just the time. But it's a very, I don't know, it just sounds interesting. It's a
Well,
very interesting premise. I like
right.
it. I really like I've been saying for years, the problem with horror, the reason why it's a genre that still exists, obviously, and it's a genre that still does make some money.
Oh yeah.
The reason it doesn't have the cultural cachet that it used to is because they became very same. They all became very formulaic and all just very da da da, and there was no like mind worms that would stick with you and make you, when you're alone at night, make you think for a second, like, whoa, that'll feeling in the back of your neck, like something's watching you because you just watched a movie. You know, in your rational brain, it's not happening, but your lizard brain's going crazy, telling you there's evil
Yeah.
spirits around.
Yeah.
I
And
want that,
yeah,
and so many movies don't give you that.
I don't really know why this movie's R-rated, to be honest with you. But this movie definitely has more of the psychological. It's a lot of fun. It's definitely tongue in cheek sometimes, although it's more David Wright type of humor.
Yeah,
It's dry humor. So certain people won't catch that. But it's set in the 70s and it looks great. There are certain few things that being a person who grew up in the 70s, isn't perfect about that presentation. But in order to do that, they would have to, bring the film quality down a lot, right? And they
Right.
only bring it down a little bit to just give you a little bit of that feel it's old TV show. I think it's enough. I know the Red Letter Media guys complained about that, but honestly, you're trying to make a movie for people to watch in the year 2024. If you brought it down to the very low quality of film in 1970s TV, I just think it would be too much, right?
Yeah,
And I don't think that's much of a valid complaint anyway. And they even said that because they thought this movie was great. I
that's
guess
cool.
they prefer the ending to be a little bit more old school, and not as dramatic as it gets. But I love it though. I love this movie. There you go.
Cool.
Go watch it.
Cool. I will check it out. I will, in fact. I shall indeed. I shall. In fact, I shall, Chester. I
Mhm.
shall.
There's only 2 movies on here I've seen though, and I'm a horror buff, so that's weird. Yeah. But anyway, guys, this is a good one. I don't know about this one, but I mean, it might be good, but it's certainly not a new premise. It's British or European though. Does it say where this is filmed? No information. That's not good. Yeah, that's definitely European, right? Yeah, maybe
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Italy. Looks like
Yeah,
Italy.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. This is fine. I'm not going to say it's great, but it's fine. It's watchable. And This one I want to see in a violent
Yeah,
nature.
that looks good.
Yeah. And then this other stuff is hit or miss for me. Anyway, cool. Let's move over to another movie that's coming out. I thought we'd talk a little bit about because I saw it and my brain immediately went, but why?
A hard nut to crack. 9 to 5 stars address Jennifer Aniston's upcoming remake.
Now, for those of you who are youngins and don't know what the movie 9 to 5 is, it's a movie with a certain little lady in it called Dolly Parton. And she's
Yeah,
a working girl. She goes to work 9 to 5. She sings
it's
in it.
it's based off of her song. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's Dolly Parton. Therefore, there's a lot of music in it. I don't
Yes.
know that Jennifer Aniston can sing.
I
Maybe
hope
she can.
not.
She could be a triple threat. You never know.
I
But
It'd be the
she's
first I've heard of it.
right. But
At
she's
this
not.
point in her career, you'd think it would have got
Yeah,
mentioned. Is
but
my point.
she's not known for it, so no one's going to
No,
expect it. And I'm like, how do you do this movie without singing? How?
you don't. You don't. Well, you can do it. It's just gonna suck.
It's going to
I mean,
suck.
the original isn't like a masterpiece. It's
No,
fine.
it was a big hit
You
though.
know.
It was a pretty big
Yeah.
hit.
Well, it's Dolly. It was Dolly at the peak of her powers.
It was. It was.
Uh, yeah. No. Listen. I know a lot of people. There are legitimately a lot of people who like Jennifer Aniston. Aniston.
Aniston.
I don't dislike her. I'll watch
I
something with
liked
her
her in
in it.
Leprechaun. That's about the only thing I've seen
Um,
her in.
but she's not Dolly Parton. Like, what are we doing here? Like, you're just setting yourself up to fail here. Dolly was a once in a forever type of person. Well, she still is. She's not dead. Sorry, Dolly. But Dolly is a once in a forever type of person. You only get one Dolly. You're going to have 100 different Jennifer Anistons over the lifetime of Hollywood. You only get one Dolly. So, I just don't. I think this is. It's what we call being set up to fail. Whoever's idea it was, maybe it was her idea, I don't know. You're being set up to fail either by your own decisions or by the decisions of others, and that's what's going to happen. You're going to fail. Sorry.
Yeah.
This is the problem with Hollywood and all this incessant remakes. Modern stars aren't like old stars. You cannot make apple pie with plums. You
Well,
just can't do it.
or cantaloupe
Can't.
in this case.
Yes. But you get my meaning. It's a
Yeah.
different fruit. Nothing wrong with
Yeah, it's
plums.
true. Yeah,
Make plums do good things,
yeah,
but it's not apples.
yeah. If you guys don't know who Dolly Parton is, she has a few assets. Two
Yeah,
of them are
she was
on,
well known.
endowed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Dolly was always really pretty too.
And
I always
I
thought.
think she's a pretty girl. She's enormously chesticled,
Yes.
and which is a bit of her claim to fame. But she can act. She's in several movies where she's not bad at all. Little Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, pretty good
Oh, it's
movie.
one of my
Nine to
wife's
Five.
favorite movies. She'll watch it anytime.
It's a
She
fun little
loves
movie,
Buffalo
dude.
Horse. Yeah,
And of course, Dolly, other than all that stuff, she's an amazing songwriter. There's a lot of songs
she
that
is.
you don't even know she wrote. And then, of course, she's a mega legend hit in Nashville, right?
Yeah.
So Dolly
Still,
is
to
a
this day, she
powerhouse.
owns that area of Tennessee. She's it's hers. It's Dolly's world, and everybody else is living in it.
That's true.
Uh, she
She
still
has amusement
dominates
park.
all of the dominates all of the touristy spots down there. Like she's an institution in and of herself,
Hmm.
Miss Park.
She is. And the interesting thing, I don't recall if Dolly never actually showed any real skin, did she?
Not that I know of. No,
No.
she's
Yeah.
always covered up.
Good old Christian girl.
Yep.
My point being is 9 to 5 was her movie, and it's they got a musical thing going on, which is cool. But I just don't know. Are we getting the reveal of Jennifer Aniston's singing career? Is this what we're getting?
Oh, I hope not. I genuinely don't need this to happen.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
no,
Because
it's just remake-itis that Hollywood's had for I don't know 25 years
yeah.
that they have a chronic case of they can't seem to kick. It's a
But now,
shame.
keep in mind the original movie does have a little bit of the secretary pool, which is what this movie is,
Yeah.
and having to deal with the man boss. There's a little bit of that womenness in it, a little touch. But instead of bitching and complaining, they figured it out. They came out with a solution, which is what no feminist does these days. No solutions to be had. So it's got a little bit of that, but you know what they're going to do. They're going to lean in hard. And I'm sure she's an old bitter lady that never had no baby. Has she got a baby yet? I don't think so. But because she didn't want to have me, she was going to have an amazing career, and I'm going to get. We ain't got you and me, Brad. We ain't having babies yet because I have an amazing career, which of course she didn't have. And Brad left her and then went and married a psychopath. But then again, Brad Pitt's choice in women, you know, he's a bro. He's one of us, but he's an idiot when it comes to women. Let's just leave it like that. But I just saw this and why? It's the weirdest thing. They constantly doing remake over of every little teeny thing, but it's like, why would you even touch this movie? It's such a little teeny niche thing that only people who like Dolly Parton know about. I mean,
Yeah.
it's weird. It's just weird. We see these weird remakes every now and then, and it's just like, why? Who are you making this for? I don't know. Whatever. That's all I got to say. Patrick Pascal, you can go to hell. All right. But this see how they deal with this troublesome boss, right? Is what they ended up doing. These secretaries, right? And I always liked Dolly. She's good fun, and the lady in the middle did a lot of stuff. This girl over here is super cute, even though the hair of that period is awful. That disco age hair, my God, dude. Every women always curling it up like this. It didn't get much better in the 80s, but this was a bad time. It was a bad time. All right.
Yeah, perms. No, they gotta keep them gone. Keep
Yeah.
that dead.
No.
Don't bring that back. Nobody's asking for
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. No, we don't need it. Now, I thought we'd take a look at Box Office Mojo. We've been doing that every week here for a while. Just kind of, keeping up with what's going on with the movies. Last weekend. That is dismal, dude.
Yeah, it's
It's
bad. It's
freaking
bad.
June. It's June.
Well, look what we got though. I mean, look at this. What is this? Nothing on there. The only one that's even remotely interesting to me, is Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
And it
I'm
didn't
not
do very
interested in
well either.
Furiosa. No, not interested in Furiosa at all. Have no interest.
None.
Not interested in the Fall Guy. I might watch it when it's on streaming, but I'm not going to go pay ticket prices for it. Don't care about Garfield. Don't care about If.
No. How
No.
much money is Disney paying to these cinemas to keep that disaster of a movie up? It's been up for a long time, and
Yeah,
and why? But
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
the Garfield movie came out, and its total is 150, so it's made 75 million. It's an animated film; those things are expensive, so it's lost money. And it's
Probably.
like,
Yep.
the question I have is why? Now, you and I know who Garfield is. I know who Garfield is better than you do, probably.
for sure.
Heathcliff and stuff like that. But do you think this is a kids movie, which is fine? But what kid today knows anything about Garfield? I mean,
That's a good question. I don't know who this movie was for. It's one of those things. Who are we making this for? It's
Yeah.
like they've completely forgotten to ask that question because
it's a pet
might
project.
come off as it might come off as subtly racist or some form of istrophobic. No, sweetheart, Schnookums, honey bear, you have to have an audience for a film. You have to have a market, if you will. I know, crazy economics for a product. If there's nobody out there who wants your thing is worthless. Doesn't matter how hard you worked on it, doesn't matter how much you love it, doesn't matter any of that stuff. If nobody wants your stuff that you've made, that you've labored over, your labor is worthless.
Yeah.
You dumb communists.
It's
labor
weird.
does not have value because you worked hard on it. Labor has value because somebody wants to pay you for it.
Yep.
That's it. And that's why we're in this state. They make these. It's the remake-itis thing too. Nobody wants a 9 to 5 remake. Nobody really
No.
wants a Furiosa movie. Nobody wants that. Nobody
No, we
wants
want
these
Max.
things. Yeah,
Mel
and you
Gibson.
can have Furiosa in it if you want. That's fine. But we want Mad Max.
Yep.
You even had to put his name on it because you know that's what people really want to
And it
see.
didn't even help
You
them.
idiots.
Yeah.
Yes, you're not
now-
tricking us anymore.
The thing with Garfield as well, though, once again, there's no young kids that know anything about Garfield. They just don't. But you know, I saw the trailer because I'm not going to watch this movie, obviously. And you know, it's not Garfield is another issue because I remember Garfield in the newspaper, you know, the Sunday funnies, comics, right? Comic strips. And of course, I've seen there was like an animated show and stuff like that. You got to keep in mind, Garfield is a dick.
Yeah.
He's not a
That's the
nice
point.
cat. He's a jerk.
Correct.
He's mean to Odie. He's mean to whatever the man's name is. He's just lazy. He steals. He's just awful. He's awful. And that's the joke, right? It's a cat, and cats are lazy, and they don't give you any love unless they want something. That's the whole joke about Garfield, right? It's not Marmaduke who loves you too much, and it's like, please stop loving me, you know, Marmaduke. It's Garfield. And he seemed like a nice, happy cat, and it's like, dude, did you miss the memo or something? He should be sarcastic as hell, right? So I don't know. Weird.
Sorry, my wife decided I desperately needed to see these little stuffed animal toy thingies she's been collecting that my cousin bought her a bunch of. I needed to see them right this minute. That's why I was muted.
Are they beanies and or babies?
No, they're just little. I don't even know what are those called, babe.
In my pocket, so it's like jungle, puppy in my pocket, kitty in my pocket, farm in my pocket,
There you go.
wildlife in my pocket.
Kitty and
Yeah, I'm
there you go. In my pocket toys. There you go. That's what she's decided that she's going to collect these, and yeah.
Sympathies.
She can hear you.
There's jungle in my pocket, farm animal in my pocket.
She's very excited, as you can tell.
My daughter had when she was a kid, she had something with these little anamorphic, little critters that looked similar to this, but they were human-esque. What was it called? Sunnyvale or
Probably, yeah, something like that.
Sylvan Home. Something like that. And she loved those things as a kid. Yeah, cool. But I will make no further comments. Anyway, Garfield, dumb. No one knows it, and you didn't do it well. This movie right here, surprised a little bit because it's got Ryan Reynolds. But it's a kids movie. But it does. I've seen reviews on it, and it just doesn't kid movie very well.
No.
Right. So you know, there's a problem. This movie is, you know, made less than all of them over 2 weeks. Disaster.
A disaster. That is one of the worst flops ever. Right there.
This didn't
That's
make
what you're
money
looking at.
back either, dude. This is in trouble.
No.
Um,
It'll probably end up making its money back on streaming and stuff, but
maybe.
yeah, it's going to be close.
And this has been
That
going
definitely didn't make its.
weeks.
Yeah, that didn't make its money back. No.
No, probably not. Because
I heard it's actually pretty good. That's what I heard. Now, I don't know if that's true. I haven't seen it. But I heard it's okay. It's not as good as like Bullet Train, right? It's not even close, but it's watchable from what I
the
understand.
thing is, I used to watch The Fall Guy and I liked it, and this is clearly nothing to do with it. And
it's just a
pisses me off.
branding situation. Yeah.
Now, hopefully, it has more of an actual story arc than, say, Roadhouse. I still can't believe who I want to meet. It's not often that I want to run into a director, but I really want to run into a director, and I just want to slap him just once. It's like,
what is this? Why does this exist?
How do you not have a story arc? How do you do that? It's insane, dude.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Cinema is sucking balls. We knew this wasn't going to be a great year, but it's a horrible year.
Well, we'll see what happens when Wolverine and Deadpool comes out. I think it's going to do crazy numbers, strictly because nothing else is, and I think people are ready for something to go watch. But none of this stuff is, nobody cares about this stuff. Like it's just not. It's not that. Look at what they've given us here. Okay, the only one of those that should have probably made more money than it did is Kung Fu Panda 4. Or Kung Fu Panda 4. The only reason I say that is because it's the fourth iteration. It's a franchise that Kung Fu Panda's been around a long time now. They've made a lot of money with Kung Fu Panda. Obviously, they've made 4 of them. So that's the only one on this list here that should have made a ton of money. Dune Part 2 did make its money, barely.
Not really.
And did make more than the first one, I think. But it's Dune, guys. Like, it's niche.
Yeah,
it's niche in a niche thing.
It's not great, dude.
It's not making great money.
No.
It should have made 500. That should be 500 million if they were to be comfortable.
Domestic.
That's where it should have been.
Should be. Yeah. But I mean, just look at the tragedy of 2024, dude.
That's just bad. That's bad. And part of it is the economy. Everything's too damn expensive. Everything. Like, we went out to eat tonight. When we got back in town, we went out to eat. And we went to a Mexican restaurant. A nice sit-down Mexican restaurant. Actual Mexican food. Made by Mexicans. The whole deal. Right? Mm-hmm. Not Taco Bell. It was cheaper than the last time Mr. Miracle and his wife Adrian and his wife went to Taco Bell. That's how expensive fast food itself has gotten in America. That's how expensive just basic things that every American, just life has gotten in America. So one of the things people have cut out clearly is just going to the movies. They're just like, it's too expensive. It's outrageous. If you take 2 people, you're spending at least $60 probably. If you get any concessions or whatever, easily.
When we look at the real economy, people are 8,000 in the hole annually.
Correct.
I mean, that's legitimate numbers with the inflation.
That's a lot of money for a lot of people.
Dropping money and everything. $8,000. And just keep in mind that with Trump, the real economy, you were up 4.
Correct.
So
we had deflation. Remember the kvetching on the mainstream media that the price of things was going down and that's bad for the economy? Remember that? I remember it. They were crying that deflation's actually a bad thing. How is my money being worth more to me bad for me? Explain.
Yeah. No,
that's what deflation means.
And happy they go spend money. This loss of money and this inflation, not only does it mean people have less money in their pocket, they're less willing to spend it. So it's even tighter. Right?
Correct. You have to tighten the old belt.
And how does the Biden administration, which, I say that loosely, how did they decide to try to fix it? Oh, print more money. The actual creation of the inflation, let's do more of it.
That'll work, yep.
God.
So this fire I started, how I'm going to put it out? How's that? I'm going to throw a lot more gas on it. Mm-hmm. That should do it.
Yeah.
That ought to fix it.
Yeah. And keep in mind that even though you had a little bit of easing on gas, it's going to get worse again.
Yeah. It already is. The year. It's already back up to 360 where I'm at.
Right.
And usually my area is fairly cheap. when it comes to
because
gas.
OPEC is absolutely leaning toward the BRICS people over the
Yep.
Americans because they can't trust Biden. They don't like him, right?
The
Um,
only excuse, and it's not even really an excuse. There's no excuse. There's no excuse why America should be dependent on anything OPEC says, other than the fact that we keep bending the knee for some reason.
and we're
We have
sending
more
our
oil.
reserves. Well, we're sending it out though. We're giving it away.
Yeah, we have more oil in the ground in America, in Colorado, than all of the Middle East combined.
Yeah.
Combined.
Yeah.
And yet we're not touching it because something, there's a turtle that might die.
Right.
What?
Right.
What are we
Right.
doing?
Right.
This is
Even though
insanity.
if you go look at oil derricks and oil mining, it's actually doesn't disturb
It's
nature
pretty
much at all.
clean. Yeah, it's
Pretty
pretty
clean.
safe nowadays.
Uh,
There was a time, sure, where it was much more maverick, but
but not now.
it's not 1890 anymore,
No.
guys. What are we doing?
And keep in mind, it's way, way. I mean, the magnitude's less destructive than lithium mining.
Yes, or
But
cobalt, or any of these
also,
other metals.
right, yeah, they're incredibly strip mining is destructive to the environment. But keep this in mind. There's another thing going on, geopolitically, right? Of course, France. Um, I don't want to get into this too deeply, but I should probably cover it for Roger. Um, France is making a lot of noise about trying to push NATO into the Ukrainian situation
Yeah,
because we had like a year, last year, the Ukrainians, with all the support and money, did have a few successes, particularly in dealing with using American missiles and destroying Navy ships from Russia. So they had some success, they did. But since then, they've had nothing but failure, right? And Russia is
right.
just doing its slow plotting Russia thing. They're just Russians, right? Doing what they do, right? We have 600,000 dead on the Ukrainian soldiers. We have 1 million wounded, right? The Russian numbers are nowhere near that, which shows you how well Russia's doing because the way Russia does war is throw millions of bodies at it.
Yeah,
Anytime
it
Russia
always
gets in a
has.
war, they have huge casualty numbers because that's how
Yeah,
they do it, right? So the fact that their numbers are so low, it shows you what's going on, right? But
right.
nevertheless, France is all pissed off because um, you know, we talk about after World War One and World War Two, a lot of these European superpowers were kind of forced to, or simply lost control of their colonies from around the world, pretty much all of them. The one that held on to the most was France. Now, they lost their Asian holdings. Of course, the debacle in Vietnam, Cambodia, Indochina, of course, is what I'm talking about. And there's a long story there. And it's kind of weird how the Vietnamese sussed themselves out of the communist nonsense by having to deal with the even crazier communists in Cambodia. A lot of people don't know that the Vietnamese, after the war with us in the 78, I mean 1978, 79, they went to war with Cambodia. I think most people don't even know this, but they basically put an end to Pol Pot's. Now he remained kind of in the backwater till the late 90s, where he eventually was put under house arrest by his own people. But nevertheless, because they went and dealt with that, Vietnam put themselves on a better path, and they're actually doing really great today. And Cambodia is doing better too. But my point is, France created an absolute debacle of things in the East, and they still, after the war, where most of European powers lost their colonies, they held on to a lot of their African stuff, either directly or indirectly. Now, here's a problem that France has been having. The Sahel is an area across northern Africa. You probably never heard it before, but it's in what we call the General Sahara. But it goes from the west coast to the east coast across North Africa, and it's called the Sahel. And it's always at war. It's just perpetually so. And basically, France has always been, hey, we're going to come help you. We're the hero. Yay, yay. And but they're having a lot of economic trouble, and they kind of backed out of the area a little bit. And what happened was a certain little group from Russia called the Wagner Group. You ever heard of them?
I believe, yes, I have actually, yes.
Yeah. They came in and they've actually made a lot of friends with the black peoples down there in the Sahel and the Muslim types. And they've been kicking the absolute shit out of the French. And the French have basically lost all their territories in Africa, and they're hurting hardcore, and they're pissed because there's a lot of money there they were pulling out, and now they're not pulling it. So France really wants to get into Ukraine and make war over there so they can beat the Russians back and hopefully get Wagner Group out of Africa and take back their black slave holdings, right? And
Yeah,
that's why you hear the French making so much noise about going into Ukraine. I don't think the other groups will let them do this, especially if Trump wins. That ain't happening. But
no, no.
this is why you hear France making so much noise. But the problem we have also, and I'm talking about oil here, I'm going to round myself back to it. Georgia. Now we know
Mm.
in 2008, the Russians went in there for kind of similar reasons they went into Ukraine, to be honest with you. But recently, United Nations, or excuse me, NATO, no, EU, yeah, EU has been put them on a list to join the EU, and of course, Russia will not have that. And there's been a bunch of noise going on in there. But you got to keep in mind, after this whole nonsense happened with Russia going to Ukraine and all the sanctions, what the Europeans and the Americans did, they went to the Azerbaijanis, right? And said, hey, can you up your Caspian oil production and pipe that in? They're like, yeah, sure, we'll have it up by 2027. The problem is that pipeline goes right through Georgia, you see.
Right,
And Russia is building a port. Oh God, it's like almost on the border, on the Black Sea, and they will not let the EU get into Georgia, and we might well see the Russians actually go into Georgia. That might actually happen. The simple fact of the matter is this stalemate that's going on. That Azerbaijani oil is going to be very hesitant about coming out. And therefore, that is going to affect the European oil prices, which of course is going to affect us because we know the Democrats only wish to give everything we have to other people. So, but before you can possibly get a Trump in there, guarantee you your prices are going to go up in gas, probably $2, I would say,
excellent.
before
That
the end of
won't
the year.
absolutely break the economy,
Yeah.
by the way.
Sorry
We
for
got
the
away with it for like a few weeks back in 2021. We won't get away with it again. If it shoots up over $5 a gallon where I'm at, and it stays there, I'm right in the middle. Truckers got to drive through here. They got to do it, which means they got to stop and they got to pay for their diesel. They got to pay for their gas or whatever kind of engine they're running, and that's immediately makes the price of everything go up instantaneously, without rebuke, without remorse. Everything goes up the moment the gas price goes to something they can't outweigh with pre-planning.
Well,
So,
they want to get you out of your cars. They want you to stop driving because
of course they do.
global warming, right?
Yeah, yeah. Even though the automobile has absolutely nothing to do on a comparative scale with CO2 emissions compared to the military or private jets or the big one, the big nasty one, coal plants.
Oh, all over the
The
world.
thing the thing China builds in the thousands.
South
That
Africa.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's the American cars that's the problem. Even though, oops, that's not true. Every single American city's air quality has increased dramatically in the last 40
Actually,
years.
if you go look at the index, it's shocking how green the America is, the United States of
Yeah,
America. You're
and in
more green
fact,
than Japan is.
we have more trees now in this country than we did 150 years ago.
Mm.
Huh? That's interesting.
Yeah.
But it's our cars that are the problem.
Well, see,
Yeah.
the thing is, when I was a kid, high school kid, it was save the trees, burn the,
Yeah.
get rid of the plastic, save the trees. But now it's
That's right.
kill the trees, save the plastic. You see.
Yes. Yeah. We don't need them trees. What are they gonna? What have they ever done for us? Oh, everything. Just
I
all
wish,
of it.
And
All
of
of it.
course,
From the top down.
well, for the past century or so in America, they've turned the lumber industry into a sustainable industry,
Yes.
right? So it's not like they're actually
Which
burning
is
through it anyhow.
which is kind of funny because it always should have been anyway. Like,
Well,
what
it
were you
is.
guys
It's an
thinking,
industry.
you dummies? Why wouldn't you do this? Why wouldn't you do it in this fashion? This fashion makes perfect sense. Why would you just keep chopping down wood forever? Wood, guys, hey, it regrows. You can put it back. You can do it again. It'll come back if you just give it a shot. The fact that there was ever a time that it wasn't was just utterly stupid.
Well,
Like, aside from global warming or climate or anything, it was just dumb business. It
Yeah.
makes more business sense to you to get it to a point where it's constantly regrowing, constantly being resupplied with fresh lumber,
yeah,
instead of one growing down old lumber, because old lumber is, while it is more durable, it's also much more difficult to cut. New lumber is much softer comparatively,
Yeah.
and is fine for what we're going to use it for. You don't necessarily need old lumber for most things.
stick and frame.
Yeah, so it just makes more business sense to make that particular one, especially, as sustainable as possible, because it's you're future proofing effectively. Like there is a possibility you could forest away everything. If you didn't do that, it would take a long time, but it could happen.
China.
Yes,
China
so
has
like
done
China,
that.
yes,
Yeah, China has done that. Roger, well, even though they've tried to change the definition because, they're rewriting history, you're in a
yeah.
recession. And honestly, I'd say you're already in a depression. Already.
If we're being completely honest,
Completely honest. Yeah.
we were in a recession for sure, but probably a depression since 2000.
Yeah, you can't,
Uh,
and besides, you can't shut the world down for a year and not expect
no,
consequences.
yeah,
I
there's
mean,
going to
it's
be
just,
consequences.
yeah. But
Uh,
anyway, I just want to kind of touch on that because it's a thing. But I'm telling
yeah,
you, you don't see the media talking about it. And do keep in mind while all this whole Trump trial stuff was going on, Biden and his people secretly and quietly sent a lot more shit to Ukraine. Just keep that in
of course
mind.
they did.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I do like okay, we say it all the time, and it's the truth. I don't really care whether you like Trump or not. The fact that Joe Biden, as president of the United States of America, has tweeted out, well, somebody in his organization has tweeted out that they are openly and directly defying the Supreme Court.
Oh yeah.
Oh, like with no remorse. They're not. It's not subtle. He says, "This is a quote. The Supreme Court said I couldn't do it. I found a way to do it anyway." What? So you're just breaking the law. You're
Well,
just openly breaking the law,
they've been
defiantly.
doing that their entire time, dude.
But how could anybody, with an honest mind, look at that and be like, "That's fine. That's fine."
Because
Even don't vote for any of them. I don't care. Vote for Santa Claus. I don't care. But you look at that and you're like, "That's fine. It's fine when he does it." What? So dictator's cool as long as he wears your team jersey. Okay.
well, see,
All right.
because they bought the bubble gum, dude.
Apparently.
Yeah. But anyway, let's move on to our next story. And this needs a slight little bit of preface before I flip over to the page. There was a company
Uh-oh.
a long time ago
Not a company.
called Konami.
Yeah. They're still a company, I think.
And they
aren't
were made famous by a weird little Japanese man named Kojima,
That's true. Yeah.
a genius.
Yeah. Just ask him. He'll tell you.
He'll tell you. But highly respected, an amazing engine builder. And a man who has actually innovated and given more to video game architecture than you realize.
Yeah.
And they rode that fame for
True.
years and years and years. Then they decided to go, not unlike the Game of Thrones people and the Lord of the Rings people, and say, yeah, you know what, Kojima, we're going to give you less money and you're going to do exactly what we say because, we're better than you. We don't need you.
That's
And
true.
that
Yeah.
little Kojima guy, he's like, okay, fine. I go start my own company. And he did.
I like the accent. Yeah.
They tried to roll on this company called Konami, and everything fell apart into utter disaster. And then they announced, we are going to make the ultimate amounts of money making pachinko machines in the Japan.
Uh-oh.
And they've done it for years. But then they've decided that no, our heart, our soul, our very essence is in is in the video game world. And we're going to come back. And we're going to come back not with something new. We're not going to repair or mend our relationship with Kojima. We're not going to get some other people come in. No. We're going to do a remake. But our remake is going to look worse than the one that came out 20 years ago.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It checks out.
Look at
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Look at it.
It's
Look at it. Look at it. What the? Oh my God. Oh my God. Now, literally 20 some years ago, Silent Hill came out, right? 2, the original
Yes.
one. And of course, Silent Hill's had a lot of games come out, and many of them are successful. It's a very if you never played Silent Hill, I'm not gonna say anything. You should go play it because the storytelling is really good, and it's not what you think it is. That's the great thing about Silent Hill. It is not what you think it is, and
Yeah.
it's great. But nevertheless, the remake, and they're very proudly showing off these things, doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. And worse than that, it's clearly super woke. They've made it. This looks like John Travolta in a frickin' wig, dude. What is with this body? What kind of body is going on here? What is this? Because I do recall that Maria is like a stripper or something, right? Pretty sure she was. Something
I
like
think
that.
so, yeah.
Yeah. And it's just this DEI nonsense is still here, causing trouble. And the Konami comes out with a remake, which no one really asked for, to be honest with you, that looks horrible. Now, we've seen remakes. Final Fantasy's done some and had some success. I do believe we've seen Biohazard Resident Evil stuff, do a couple of remake stuff and have some success. So you can do it, but you can't take something that was more than 20 years old and then make it look worse overall than it was then. Yeah, you just can't do this. And I understand how you do this, especially when we have Unreal Engine 5. But it's just, Konami, go away. Go make pachinko machines. Go away.
Or get down on your knees and grovel before the only man to ever made you relevant.
Yeah. And honestly, these pictures side by sides aren't great. I just grabbed one to head them. I've seen better ones, and the difference is much more stark than these photos are showing you. It really looks worse.
Did
And
we
know.
ever? I mean, maybe you being in Japan, maybe you've heard, but has anybody ever found out why they soured on Kojima so hard?
Yeah, they got
Like,
greedy.
what happened?
They got greedy.
And he wouldn't play their bullshit. I'm guessing he was just like, no, we're not doing that.
He knew his worth, and he took his worth elsewhere, and has been making money ever since. They just got
printing
greedy.
money.
It's the same thing with those idiots. That's why I mentioned Game of Thrones. Those idiots with Game of Thrones. We don't need you, Martin. Who are you?
Get out of here, George. George.
Silly old man. We don't need you. It's that
fat old
attitude.
Man. Santa Claus.
Well, it's just like we see with all these other people who they think they're better than the originals. Of course, the most shocking one to most of us is the people over at Amazon, whichever the Lord of the Rings, Rings of Five of Power, or whatever it is.
Rings of Five Power, yeah, that's it. You got it.
The fact that the fact that they actually believe that they're better writers than Tolkien is the most extreme version of it. But it's like,
well,
what?
It's interesting that you mentioned him. I don't know if you saw it. I put it in the general chat. I even tagged you in it, so you probably didn't see it. Our friend, everybody's favorite modern writer, Mr. Martin himself, recently wrote a blog post complaining about this exact thing, saying that it's unbelievable that these people always think they can do better than the original work. And 99% of the time, they fail miserably.
Yep,
they just simply cannot.
And, Martin is a good writer. I like his books. I like the way he writes. He's very descriptive.
I think for incest.
He does like a little bit of too much incest. We can dial that back.
Yeah,
dial that back.
But
But
it's interesting. It's interesting. Another thing about this Konami remake is that they hired good old Sweet Baby Inc.
they did.
Yeah.
It is
Yep.
the Sweet Baby, of course. That's why it looks like this. Because John Travolta needed work. All right, it's been a while.
They made it less look like David Duchovny.
Well, I've seen that, but it looks more like John Travolta. Look at it.
It's just bad. That's what it looks like. It looks bad.
But I grew up with Welcome Back, Kotter, so I know what young John
Like,
Travolta looks like.
Well, look at
They
James.
can't even. They can't even make the argument that but it's because of graphical fidelity or whatever. Because even these graphics look bad.
Yeah.
These are not modern. That is not modern graphics. That's 10-year-old graphics at least.
Bad, and I don't understand
bad.
what Konami is doing. Especially when Unreal Engine 5 is so accessible and available.
It's right there.
And the amount of devs who know how to work it are just, throw a stone, dude.
By the way, those graphics are just almost 20 years old. This is 2006.
Yeah, that's bad.
No, that's what I said. Like 20-year-old graphics,
So-
and they look better, dude.
This is
but-
one of my favorite games of all time, and it pisses me off.
Yeah, it's a good game. But let me just finish the one last
Yeah,
thought.
sorry.
Thunder. No, not you, Thunder.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
With Tolkien, right?
Yeah.
And these idiots over there at Amazon. The 20th century had more books written in it than the entire history of mankind that we know of.
Yes.
More books were written in there by a factor of like 100.
Oh, easily.
Right? Minimum. And I'm being very conservative on that number.
Yeah.
So it's literally the biggest century for writing in history, human history, right? That we know of. And voted the best writer of the 20th century.
That's right.
Is Mr. Tolkien.
That's correct.
But yet you little woke shit, think that you're better than the best writer in the greatest century of writing in human history? The freaking hubris, dude. Oh my God.
As the famous quote goes, sheer fucking hubris.
Yeah.
The only good thing out of Picard season 1 is that line, just because it's so applicable.
And it's mocking.
Yes.
But anyway, go ahead. It's.
I'm gonna read it, Chester. I'm gonna read it, the whole thing. It's not that long. I'm gonna read the whole thing that he wrote. He wrote, "Everywhere you look, there are more screenwriters and producers eager to take the great stories and, quote, make them their own. It does not seem to matter whether the source material was written by Stan Lee, Ian Fleming, Ursula K. Le Guin, J.R.R. Tolkien, Mark Twain, Jane Austen, or, well, anyone. No matter how major a writer is, no matter how great the book, there always seems to be someone on hand who thinks he can do better, eager to take the story and, quote, improve it, or improve on it. The book is the book, the film is the film, they will tell you, as if they were saying something profound. Then they make the story their own. They never make it better, though. 999 times out of 1,000, they make it worse."
Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Martin, that is correct. They even did it to you. Right to your face hole.
Yeah, for several years. But then, of course, you get someone like Peter Jackson, who went into Lord of the Rings with such humility. And
did his best.
What he did. He created, arguably by many people, the greatest movie series of all time. I mean,
one of them. It's up there.
It's up there. Yeah. And, because he showed respect to the writer and the story. But we can't.
Well, and he also, because of that respect, he went out and found people who shared the same level of respect at all levels. Everybody on that project, from what I understand, was either an avid Tolkien fan or at least an avid respecter of the man's work.
Oh, no.
And it shows.
It does.
It shows in all their performances. It shows in the sets. It shows in the costumes. All of the little things that make a film go from just being a good film to a great film to a masterpiece.
Yeah.
All of that stuff has to be right. And it takes, more than just one guy.
Yeah.
You can have the best director of all time, and if he doesn't have a team around him who's at a caliber that he can work with, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But they had so much around them, especially including our boy Saruman, Mr. Lee, who literally knew Tolkien. Like he knew the man. So that is impressive. And it's just something that you can't replicate now. So when they try, even if they did have the best of intentions, which we know they don't, but if they did, I don't think they could. I genuinely don't think they could.
No.
I just don't think it's possible anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, anyway, yes, Maple Sheep, the Sweat Hogs, Vinnie Barbarino, and Horseshack. Good old stuff. Go ahead, Bob. I'm going to get some more coffee. I'll be back.
Oh no, I'm just this whole fucking thing pisses me off.
I can tell. You seem upset. You seem
Like I
very
said,
upset about
this
Silent
is-
Hills.
The Silent Hill series was like one of my, especially Silent
good.
Hill 1 and 2. It was
It's
it's my favorite my favorite horror game series of all time. And
I'd
it's one of those things. It's one of those things where you're like, how do you mess this up? You know,
intentionally. That's the only way.
Yeah, because it's problematic.
Yeah,
You know,
this is a problem.
I love that where it's like, we're making it for a modern audience. What does that even mean?
They don't know.
No,
For them.
that's
That's
just
what it means,
a
for
buzz-
themselves.
Yeah, it's a buzzword it's we're making it for people who think like we do, and
That's
if
right.
you disagree with us, you're wrong. Insert
That's
istophobe here,
Yep.
and you're gonna if you don't like it, then you're the problem, and it's just like Jesus God.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's insufferable, and it's interesting that Martin is coming out and quite literally saying the exact same thing, just with better verbiage. Because it's just, I think everybody's tired of it now. One of the reasons why Hollywood is struggling this year, and they are bad,
Yeah,
is because people are tired of it. Even if they're not political, they're just tired of it. It's not good. You're making trash for an incredibly ultra niche audience. Understand that these sorts of people who think this way are maybe 4% of the global population. Maybe. Most of the world disagrees with them by a huge number. And they continue to do it over and over and over. And it seeps into other things. And I think a lot of people now, on an almost instinctual level, when they start to get the hint of this we'll call it imposter syndrome that these people have playing out on their screen, it turns them off. One of the reasons I think people like Dune 2 so much, aside from Zendaya snorting at the camera, is aside from that, literally, the rest of it is pretty darn good. And it's clear that Dennis actually does like Dune. Like, there's actual passion for the source material. It's not just a cash grab.
well, it's another.
And
one
I
of those,
think-
it's another one of those source materials where, like, if you deviate too much, they are gonna freaking.
Yes.
They're
They're
gonna
going to murder you. Yes. it's
just like what's going on with Lord of the Rings.
Yes. And I think the quote general audience, one, they're broke. Everybody's broke. Everybody's monetary situation is pretty bad in America right now, on average, especially. And two, I just think people don't have time to give you a chance anymore. Right? We've given you a chance. And what have you given us?
They've been burned too many times.
Yeah.
It's
You can only burn people that much.
No,
so
it's
much.
not what you think it is. It's not this. It's not that. And then you're going like, yeah, it is.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they're going,
it is,
well, you obviously, and it's either you're obviously the problem or you're too stupid to understand.
Yeah, I like that one. You're not media literate. Okay, fine, but I'm
Yeah.
still not going to give you money. So my media literacy or lack thereof is not going to change the fact of whether you get paid. It has no effect. So it doesn't matter if I'm media literate or media illiterate, whatever that. It's another one of their made up buzzwords that doesn't really mean anything, because at the end of the day, this is a product supposedly for me to enjoy. If I do not enjoy it, it doesn't matter why. I don't enjoy it. Why would I keep paying for it? Why would I do that? Nobody would. No sane person is going to go to a steakhouse, get served a burnt piece of crap, and then come back to that same steakhouse just all happy. I'm going to get more burnt crap. No, that's not how people work. But for some reason, and I think the main reason is because a lot of these people are Marxists, unironically, they don't understand that just because you worked hard on something
Doesn't mean it's
means
good.
anything. Yeah, it doesn't mean it's good. Doesn't mean anybody wants it. It doesn't matter. If nobody wants it, nobody wants it. You made a really hard work pile of crap. That's what you made.
Yeah, I can bust my ass on a cake. It doesn't mean I'm a baker. I can't cook a cake.
No, nobody's gonna pay for my cake. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
It-
Yeah, no, it's
And they're like, no, I can't believe we worked so hard on this. I was like, yeah, but you worked really hard.
but it
on a piece of
sucks.
shit.
Yes, but is it good though?
You didn't understand or care about what you were working on.
That's right.
You know,
That's right. Yeah.
that's what the big argument about the Marvels was. Like, so many people worked so hard in this movie, and you guys like, yeah, did you watch
Good
it?
for them.
It's a
Yeah,
piece
good for
of
them.
shit.
I don't.
It's
Yeah, it's terrible.
forget the wokeness, forget the girl boss stuff. It's just a bad movie.
Yes.
It's like
Yes.
3 different movies smashed together, and they don't make any sense.
Yes,
And
they're doing the cardinal sin. The cardinal sin in any business, really, but especially in a business that is an entertainment business that's just something that's designed to be consumed, is to burn the candle at both ends. You
Oh, I know all
cannot
about
have
that.
an agenda of X and inject that agenda X into your movie unless it serves the overall agenda that the audience cares about, entertainment. If that agenda in any way is going to distract, deviate, or damage the overall enjoyment of X film, whatever the film is, you are going to screw up. You cannot serve two masters. You have to have the making sure the audience understands and is entertained. Not understands, it's the wrong word, but is entertained by your product and enjoys your product first. As long as your audience is happy. This is one of the reasons why, as much as a lot of people dislike them, Michael Bay keeps making movies. Because the people who like Michael Bay movies like Michael Bay movies the way they are. That's all they're asking for. They're not asking for more.
Yeah. Although
Same with Godzilla movies.
What language you need to speak in order to understand a Michael Bay movie?
Cocaine.
Oh,
That's
there
the
you go.
language.
Right.
The language of cocaine.
We got
Yeah.
a Grimlock in here, and Bob is still here.
Yeah.
Apparently you weren't supposed to be. He was surprised.
No.
I'm still here. Wow.
Yeah, but this whole Konami thing is ridiculous. I don't know what they're doing, especially. I mean,
They don't either.
I mean, Bob. I mean, geez. I mean, if they want to do a remake, they could simply go hire some devs. Clearly, they put this out pretty quick anyway, right? They're just kind of trying to get hype built for it.
No, that's the sad part. This
Yeah,
thing's
it
been in
is.
the works for like 2
But-
years.
But you and I both know that they could just go get Unreal Engine 5. It's pretty cheap, right?
Yep.
Hire a bunch of devs and get on it. They already have the framework. All they have to do is do a remake of it, and you know it would look great. I just
Oh
don't
yeah, I
get
mean,
it.
look at the three Resident Evil remakes that they made. They're amazing. They're fantastic. They took the original because they respected the original. They took the original. They added some stuff to it, but they didn't change what it was at its core. They didn't add a bunch of woke shit to it. They didn't screw around with it. They didn't make Leon into a friggin' wuss. You know, it was we know these games are loved. We know why people love them.
Yeah.
We're not going to change what they are at their core. We're just going to make them look prettier and add some more friggin' gameplay to it, and that's it.
Yeah, and especially with
And
the
it-
Silent Hill series, it is kind of more female centric anyway. Just simply because
It,
of
it
the
is,
story
but yeah, but the thing is the Silent Hill series is not what people think it is.
no, I know, I love it. I love it.
It's like there's so many twists and turns to it, and I think that's part of the problem here is that it's such a cerebral game that they think this is their wheelhouse, and it's like, no, you clearly don't understand what this game is either. You know, if you're just trying to inject this stupidity
Well,
into it.
I'm going to throw something out. And you tell me what you think.
Okay.
This is years ago, right? When
Mhm.
Konami and Kojima broke. But before, like a year or 2 or 3 before that happened, Kojima came out with a Metal Gear.
Yeah.
And he, of course, being Kojima, made a new engine because that's what he does. I forget which Metal Gear that was, but for the time it looked great.
4,
Dude,
I
it
believe.
looks just like this. I'm telling you, this is the old, because they own the rights. This is the old Kojima engine, the last engine he made for Konami. That's what this is.
Well, we know that Konami's had a lot of money problems as well.
Yeah, because they're
they
morons.
basically because they're idiots and they tanked their business.
And they kill the golden goose. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, that's what this is. This is the last engine that Kojima made for them.
Could this be the reason why? Yeah, the reason why. Could it be that because they're definitely doing this on purpose. There's no way.
Oh yeah.
Could it just be spite? just to spite Kojima because one of the last things he was working on was a Silent Hill game.
It
Oh
was.
yeah,
Kojima was.
and it
That's
looked.
true.
Oh my god!
It
And I'll
looked
tell you what,
great.
that's a big part of the reason why nobody is giving this thing any kind of due is because PT looked amazing. It looked
Yep.
amazing. It was creepy as shit. It had an amazing star attached to it with Norman Reedus.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as that I don't know if you guys ever played it, but as soon as it finished and you see Norman Reedus walking through the city and it pops up and says Silent Hills, everybody lost their shit.
Wow.
Everybody lost their shit. It was the most anticipated game of the year, and Konami killed it.
Yeah, they did.
Yep.
That's true. And
And they're comparing that to this, and that's why people are saying this looks like dog shit.
And of course, you put the Sweet Baby ink on top of it.
Yep.
This is what you get.
Yep. It's kiss of death.
It is.
These,
I don't care
especially
how
these
many-
Japanese developers, they gotta get away from
Look at
these
Maria.
firms.
Look, first off, look at Maria. Scroll back up. Look at she's the one in the red jacket. Look at that. Okay, 20 years ago. Okay, that's a fairly attractive looking person. Sinister as shit because it's supposed
Yep.
to be.
Yeah.
This other one. Look at the size of her head.
Yeah, the shoulders are wrong. It's just it's not.
They
good.
both got square jaws. And then you look at James, and James looks like a friggin' pussy.
Yeah,
Yep.
they did soften him up where he was a dude, kind of a dude bro before. Let me
Yeah.
show because you're not getting a good look at Maria here. Let me go show you Maria.
Uh-oh. Maria!
Maria was supposed to be like,
It's like a stripper, I think.
yeah. Well, that's what she appeared to be.
Here we
She
go.
worked at yeah. That's what she kind of was supposed to resemble, but she's basically supposed to represent repressed sexual anxiety. Is what she
Yeah.
is.
Well, don't give any spoilers away, please.
It's 20 freaking years old, dude.
No, you're right. No, he's right. But we keep saying, for those of you who hadn't played Silent Hill, spoilers, don't listen. But Silent Hill is not a zombie game or movie.
No.
It is not a horror movie with monsters in it.
I
what
wouldn't
it
even classify it as a survival horror. It's more like psychological horror.
It's pure psychological. What it is the little girl who's at the center of it. She is a psychic. She has psionic power. And her psionic power is to such a degree that when they basically try to sacrifice her to their demon god, she created Silent Hill, an alternate version, psionically. This is not magic. It is not. It's not what you think it is, and I love it for that. When I first saw that reveal, I was like, "Oh, you fuckers!"
It's all the cool stuff from Stranger Things, but with a much more sinister tone and not so much bullshit.
Yeah, and I love the psionic aspect of it because it's not magic.
Yeah, it's basically, and it's almost like
Carrie.
It's Carrie if Carrie fully realized her powers.
Yeah,
and she
was
literally
a burnt
creates an
husk of a
alternate
barely
dimension.
living thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and she literally creates an alternate dimension.
She does. Yeah, it's
and
pretty
punishes
fantastic.
people for their sins.
That's right. So she represents, like he said, the sexual aspects. There's all kind of these traumas and psychological quirks that humans have are represented by the different, big air quote monsters, right?
And even the monsters like represent different things.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
The nurses are like an extension of Maria. They have like they represent that repressed sexual anxiety. But Maria, like they don't realize that but the people understand is that doesn't come from James. That comes from Maria herself.
Yeah, but I mean, take a look at it. This is 20 years ago. Still looks pretty good. That game was amazing, wasn't it?
Oh God, it was awesome.
But I mean, so this is a much better look at it, right? And then of course, look what I was looking at before. Yeah, here, this thing we were looking at, right? Look at that.
Yeah.
Dude.
That's Angela, though.
Mr. Cotter.
Yeah. But I mean, it's just wrong, dude. Do they have the new one in here? I don't see it. This is all showing respect to the past. But yeah, you can see that it looks
No, like, right
bad.
there. Go back up. Go back up. Right. Okay. On the that top row, the second one to the left,
Oh, this
where
is
she's
the new
standing.
one.
The full picture. No, that's
That's a
that's what she. That's a cosplay of her, and that's actually a very accurate cosplay of what she's supposed to look like.
I don't
No,
see the new
no,
one.
no. No, I'm talking about the old one. This is the old one.
Yeah, this is
Right
the
there.
old one.
Like, you see the blue picture? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
cosplay.
what she's supposed to look like.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, like I said, I'm
Because
pretty sure she
she
was a
literally
stripper.
looks. Yeah, she literally works at a strip club called what I think it was Final Heaven or something like that.
Yeah. And the storytelling in the Silent Hill games are great. The movies were okay. The first one was the best, I think.
Yeah, it was all
But
right. It
yeah,
wasn't great, but it was all right.
the ambition of the people that were trying to do with the first one, I have a lot of respect for what they
Yeah.
were trying to do, and they did capture the essence of it, I think.
And I'm telling you what, man, that the very first one had the scariest. That's the scariest game I ever played in my entire goddamn life.
Oh, dude.
Because
Yeah.
it wasn't like out in front, man. It was subtle shit, and the developers, they knew what they were doing.
Oh yeah.
The scariest thing in the entire game. You're in the elementary school because they got the little demon baby things.
Oh
They
yeah.
look like skin babies.
Yeah.
And you go into the bathroom and you're like, as soon as I walk in this room, something bad's gonna happen. And you open that
But
door
the
and you
thing
go in
is,
there.
sometimes you do all go in a place and you're sure something's going to happen and nothing happens.
That's exactly what happens. So you go in there and the door to the last stall is closed and it's shaking.
Yeah.
And you're like, there's something bad in there. You open it up and there's nothing in there. But here's the thing that got me. Right when you get to the door to leave and you click on the door to leave, you hear a little kid go,
Right.
and you're like,
Yeah.
something really bad is waiting for me outside this freaking door.
Right.
And you open the door and there's nothing. You're like, oh, and then you go back in there and you go back and the door's closed again. And you're like, son of a.
Yeah.
They were so good
clever.
at doing
So
subtle
clever.
horror.
Yeah. And then the story twist, because the whole time you're playing, you think there's just something supernatural. Well, it is, but it's more paranormal. You think there's something magical going on, something with demons or zombie. You feel this, right? But little
Yeah.
by little, you're like, well, that doesn't fit. And then when you get to the big reveal at the end, you're like, oh, so
And
good.
it's
Good
a
stuff.
very human story too, because
It
it's
is.
all about guilt and trauma.
It is. And Konami is saying, fuck you. All right, thank you, Konami.
Jesus Christ, James looks so bad.
He does.
He looks so bad, dude. He looks like a soy
looks
milk
emo.
drinking pussy.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that's not going to get even off the ground.
Look at the little girl too. Go back down a little bit. Look at this. What is she supposed to be?
It's Laura.
I mean, she's supposed. Yeah, Laura's supposed to be creepy as shit. That's why she's got the weird eyes in the original.
Yeah.
Look at this. She looks like a freaking star on one of those bad CW shows.
Right. That's exactly right. Yeah. Let me show you Laura here real quick. Better look at her. Yeah, this
Right
creepy
there.
little kid, dude. Yeah.
And I know for a fact because I used to have the Art of Silent Hill. She was designed to look like the kids from what was it, the
Village of the Damned.
Village of the Damned, yeah.
Mhm.
So that was deliberate. She's supposed to look like that. Let them go down, scroll down. There's a green screen of the new one. Keep going.
Yeah.
Right there. That's what she looks like. The hell is that supposed to be?
I don't know. It's very Uncanny Valley-esque, though. But I mean, it's weird because this has a little bit better skin texture, I suppose. But this just looks better overall.
It looks sinister as hell.
Yeah. But anyway, there's that.
Yeah.
I do have other
Excellent
stuff.
stuff.
I thought we would take a look and see what what's going on.
Return to Silent Hill trailer. Is that for that? What's that
It
for?
is for this.
They're-
Yes.
Yeah. They are actually making a. I think they're supposed to be making a movie based off of the original Silent Hill 2.
Yeah, and that'll be.
I have no.
wonderful,
I have
sure.
no faith in it.
I'm sure. But
Why-
it's unfortunate.
Jack Black is still milking the shit out of this Kung Fu Panda thing.
Why not?
Yeah. Make some money.
Yeah. What's a fat man to do?
Yeah.
You know, yeah, no, Jack is Jack. But I thought we'd take a look and see what's coming. Of course, we have the new video game coming, and we just talked about that. Sally gets potatoes. Old man, stop biting her. Okay.
Yeah, what is
Uh,
what is this? I'm uncomfortable. That's all I'm saying. I'm uncomfortable.
Is this Keanu Reeves? I don't know. Blue Lock the movie. Don't know. Minecraft series. Huh?
Yeah, they're making
Why?
a series. Yeah.
Have you guys ever watched The Umbrella Academy?
Yeah, I've watched the first 2 seasons.
I watched the first season, and I don't think I ever watched the second.
Yeah, well, when I say I watched the first 2 seasons, I watched like 2 episodes of the second season.
It
And
got woke.
it got
and
bad. Well, it was woke to begin with,
It was.
but it generally followed the original book in the first season. Second season, it just went off the freaking rails.
They just did whatever they pleased, basically.
Season
Yeah, they were
3
done.
is worse. It's wicked woke, dude.
I didn't-
Especially with
didn't-
that Ellen Page girl in it.
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah.
There's someone
Too
whose
bad.
5 minutes is up.
Though, dude, the premise was great. And of course, Doom Patrol also had woke crap in it, but it was way more fun.
Oh wait, the Doom Patrol series was actually a lot of fun.
Yep, that's my thing. Here's that Watchers thing we were talking about earlier. Haven't seen it yet. We have Wicked Lego. We don't even have the movie, which okay.
Don't care about that. I mean, that was relevant like 20 years ago.
Yeah, that's true. What is this? Have you guys seen The Bear? They have season 3.
It's a series about a guy who runs a restaurant.
Why is
A
it
gay
called
guy?
The
Why is it
Bear?
called the Bear?
It's called I don't it's some kind of BS friggin' cooking thing. I don't know.
They think they're being profound. I gotcha.
Yeah, it's one of those things.
Okay. We have Wolves. It's got George
No
Clooney.
idea what it's about.
Must be good. George Clooney's in it. No, nobody.
No,
It's George Clooney and Brad Pitt, actually.
Yeah.
So it might be good.
Ooh, might have to watch that trailer.
It might actually. No, the trailer makes no sense.
Oh,
No
then
It's just
then perfect
it's just
for
them in a
us.
car. It's them in a car, like fighting over a radio or something.
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird. Now Moana.
I think Pitt and Clooney have great chemistry, so it could be fun.
Yeah,
It could be. Now Moana 2. Yeah, why not?
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
the first one was fun.
Good little kids movie. As long as they stay on that track, I think it'll be fine. All right, fine.
Oh,
All right.
there's a new trailer.
Esther, does that bother you? The wolves? Does that bug you as an English teacher? Wolves.
I'm trying to ignore it.
How did you get this number?
I'm just kind of.
I'm assuming it's some kind of anagram or something
What?
because it.
Well, I assume the wolf is possessing something.
No, I don't think so. I
No,
think it's just
I
a
think-
pretty straight-faced cop, a crime thing.
I think they're cleaners or something like
Yeah.
that, and then they get embroiled in something, or they both do the same job or something like that.
Who are you?
I'm here to take care of your problem. Who called you?
Huh.
We clearly have a situation here. We have decided that the only course of action is for you both to work together.
No. It's not how I work. This is not how I
I
work.
will say, these gentlemen are very much showing their age, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's not a bad thing.
No, that's fine. It's just an observation.
Oh. This is a longer
It's strange to
trailer,
look
I
at
guess,
Brad Pitt.
Yeah,
not
it's a lot.
Steve.
Yeah.
It's strange to look at Brad Pitt and not see Brad Pitt anymore. Now he just looks like old Brad Pitt. It's strange to me.
Part to this you may not realize. But they're saying the same thing over
These
and over.
guys do
See
have
you
good
taking
chemistry,
it.
though, man.
I showed you my luggage.
It is. It's fantastic.
Admit it. It's cool.
Clooney's a great actor. He's just a
It's really
dick.
cool.
Yeah, he's a total douchebag. Which makes me think Brad might be, but I've never seen him do anything super douchey.
From what I understand,
Nah.
Brad's the exact opposite.
I talk
Yeah,
the
he's
same.
Yeah.
kind of
Which
a
we don't
just
make
a
opposite
dude.
the track.
Same guy.
No, maybe they really like it
Yeah.
because of it.
He's horrible with women his entire career.
Well, he's a fuckboy, dude. Let's be honest. That's what he does, man.
He's too pretty for his own good. Put
He
it that
goes
way.
out and he
Pretty
gets the
fucking
hottest
good.
women, and they're all usually crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, all right, that might be fun. That might be fun.
Yeah.
But why are you doing this to me with the wolves?
I knew it could last forever. That was my very first thought.
Maybe we got it wrong. Maybe it's not wolves. Maybe it's Wolf's, like Wolf's Diner or Wolf's Restaurant.
That's what
or
I
something.
meant. The wolf is possessing something. They're just missing
Yeah,
the
maybe that's
you
what it
know,
is. You know.
the thingy.
I'm going to stick with it's an anagram, but that's a secret, and that's
Who
why it's
knows?
not an anagram in the title.
Now they're just trying to piss me off. But anyway, that could be fun. I think that's be nice to just hopefully they don't ruin it by throwing some boss babe all over the top of it. Moana 2, there's no reason it shouldn't be good. I mean, Moana is a princess movie, and it was fine.
Did great.
Yeah,
And well, The Rock's involved in it too, and so in whether you like him or you don't like him, he does generally try to steer away from that shit.
Yeah, no, it should be fine. I mean, there should be no problem with this movie. It was, it wasn't as good as Frozen. I mean, I was good. Frozen wasn't as good as this, but then again, Tangled was better than both of them, I think. Anyway, let's keep going here. Kinds of kindnesses. Fuck
No
off.
idea.
All right. America's sweet. Or at least we have proper, grammar in here. Thank you, girls, cheerleaders. Do it right. Hard Miles, Wolves. This is the one you were talking about.
Yeah, it's awful.
Sweet Tooth.
Trigger warning.
Where?
It took them long enough.
Star Wars
took them long
Oh,
enough.
there it is. Trigger
Dude,
warning.
I actually, when I first saw that Star Wars Acolyte poster, I thought that we're making fun of it. They were like, it was like some kind of menstruation joke or something. But that's the actual poster.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh wow.
That's where we're at now.
Look, dude, it looks so bad.
Oh wow.
That's where we're at
Even,
now. Yep.
even if you're not into Star Wars or anything, like, which I don't give a shit about Star Wars anymore, but I'm watching this going, this just looks terrible.
Now, Sweet Tooth. I read the comic book and loved it.
Yep.
The
good.
series does
Haven't watched
race
it.
swap. It does. The comic is just so much better.
Usually is.
Yeah.
That's why I'm called Comic Book Bob and not Movie Bob.
That's true. Well, you don't want to be Movie Bob anyway.
Yeah, you don't want to be Movie
Nah,
Bob.
I've
Nope.
heard that.
Movie Bob doesn't want to be Movie
Dude,
Bob.
I don't know how many times I've been like, dude, are you Movie Bob? I'm like, I don't even know who the hell that is. And I
That's
found
good.
out, I'm like, oh,
That's the right
jeez.
answer. He's an absolute loser. But anyway, so Acolyte, go to hell. Trigger warning. I'm not even going to bother. Although she's cute. Babes,
You think
not
she's
babes.
cute?
No, she's cute.
I mean, she's definitely cuter than the two next to her. That's for sure.
Yeah,
Holy crap.
well, friggin' dog's ass is cuter than those two.
That's true. But maybe it's satire. It's a red band trailer. I bet you it's all about sex in this.
I'll
Oh
bet you
boy,
it is.
and vaginas. There's a lot of vagina jokes.
Dakota Johnson. Why is she even a thing? All right,
I don't
Zombie
know.
Apache. Oh, dude, all day. Well, hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. Zombie Apache, dude. Hold on a second.
Excellent. Chester's in.
I'm new in town, and all you have to do is just
Call the police?
She's cute.
That's me.
Yeah.
This reminds me of Cocaine Bear.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Or Super Troopers.
Behold our father's legacy. It's a hotel, resort, casino.
I have a sneaking suspicion it's definitely heavily inspired by Cocaine Bear. Besides this whole intentionally over the top silliness.
Make that burial site a piece of ancient
Modern version of camp.
Well, Cocaine Bear was a crap movie. It was a horribly bad movie, but it was one of those so bad it's good type of thing.
Correct.
Yeah.
His grave was desecrated by someone in this town.
Uh-oh, there he is. There he is.
Zombie Apache. Oh, dude, I need more.
I like how simple that little title was there. That's good.
Yeah.
They know what they're making.
They do, yeah.
The zombie?
Zombie Apaches. They desecrated Holy Land. Okay.
And Zombie Apaches showed up. Now they're in trouble.
Yep. Zombie Apaches. We somehow got new movies in between, which I was looking.
Yes, I don't know what happened there.
Stranger Things, no. Hard
That's
Home.
the play.
Oh, okay, okay. You still no. Hard
Yeah.
Home. Yeah, no, you're getting old, lady. Late
Who is that?
Bloomers. Well, you know who she is. I just
No,
can't
I
remember
don't.
her name. Yeah, I know who she is. I've seen her on stuff.
I yeah.
Um, what's her name?
Simone Kessel,
Simone
apparently.
Kessel. Yeah, I've seen her before, but she's starting to
I
put the
did.
age on. She's, she was a hottie. She was kind of one of those athletic, toughy girl type of hotties.
Angela Bassett type of.
Oh, dude, don't even get me on that.
And yeah, I know.
Okay.
All right, how are you gonna screw up Ultraman?
I don't know.
They're gonna
They're
try.
gonna
It
try
looks.
give 'em
hard.
a-
I could tell just from looking at it, it's gonna be bad.
Yeah.
I was hoping we'd get some Ultraman in these. I just lean into it. Why not in these Godzilla movies? But nope, no Ultraman.
Yeah.
That would be fun. That would be fun. The famous five. I don't know. Darkness of Man. Already seen it. It's a Jean-Claude Van
Yep.
Damme movie where he decided that I'm going to be an actor and not a kicking people man.
Mm-hmm.
And how'd that work out?
Yeah.
Only Murders in the Building. Jesus, dude. You know what?
4 seasons of that.
I love Steve Martin. I like Martin Short. I can't stand this show.
Oh, that's a shame. What's a good combination, man?
I mean,
That's a
yeah,
shame.
you would think so. You would think
Yeah.
so, but it just isn't.
Yeah. Goodness gracious. Let's see. Murder Company. Maybe. Got Nazis.
Let me guess. They're killing Nazis. Something original.
Yeah.
Killing Nazis.
Okay.
Hey, aren't we tired of killing Nazis yet? I know I like. Please pick a different villain. That's all I'm asking for. Just please.
It's
Let's
true.
kill the French.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes.
Let's go after
Yes.
the French. Megalopolis. This movie's getting a lot of hype. We'll see. Of course, this movie's
And
already
there's
dead.
Furiosa.
Young Sheldon. I don't know why.
Dude, I couldn't stand that show. I
my
couldn't.
wife-
I didn't. I wasn't a Big Bang Theory fan
My
either.
wife liked that.
Me neither.
I could watch
Me
that show
neither.
for like 15 minutes and be like, yeah, I don't want
Well-
to watch this ever again.
You know what my fun of the Big Bang Theory was? My family adored it. But then again, my family liked things like, America's Got Talent. But the
one thing.
How did you have such a normie family? What happened
I
there,
did.
bud?
But the thing with it is though, I loved watching them watch it
Yeah,
Okay.
because they were
had a
enjoying
good
it.
old time.
I always ruined it whenever my friends were watching because I'd just be like, you do realize that Sheldon's evil, right?
Oh, Sheldon is
He's
pure.
actually the devil.
Yeah.
He's literally the most evil being you could possibly be. And they're like, you dude, stop watching. Like, I can't stand it when we're watching this. And you're like, yeah, don't watch it in front of me.
Actually, the
House of the
show that
Dragon.
I did enjoy with the family was So You Think You Can Dance. Only because of Nigel. Most of the other professionals involved in that movie were freaking insufferable. But Nigel has, he's the guy that's really behind America's Got Talent.
Right.
Simon Cowell takes all the credit, but Nigel's the guy that actually made it all happen, right? But Nigel is a dancer himself. He loves dancing. He's passionate about it. And that's what I liked about him. And he hated when those gay boys came up and dancing. He doesn't have a problem with them being gay. But he's like, you are the reason why we have such a hard time getting boys involved in dancing. Stop
Because
it.
they all look the same.
What do you want?
I said because they all dance the same. Gay as shit.
You dance like a man.
Ugh.
Orphan Black.
Dude, that show could have been so freaking cool. It was such a cool idea. And then they couldn't help themselves and they had to woke it up.
It's true. It's like Dollhouse. That could have been a lot of fun too.
Dude, that Dollhouse was one of those shows I was like, there is so much potential here, and you guys are just completely shitting the bed with it.
Yeah. Now this is a video game over here, I think, isn't it? Road Wars, Max Fury. No, it's a B movie. It's a B movie.
It's a ripoff.
It's a ripoff.
Is that?
It's probably.
Is that? That's not Chuck Norris, is it?
It looks like him.
That is Chuck Norris. Hold on a second. It is Chuck.
Oh my!
I'm watching this. 90-year-old Chuck Norris still kicking everybody's.
Dude.
Oh, Chuck boy, what you doing, bud?
Nice.
No,
Oh,
dude, this is
I'm
watched.
down.
I'm gonna watch it, but not for the right reasons.
No, no. Agent Recon. We're trailering it.
He
Shut up.
looks fantastic for his age, though. I mean, he
Yeah,
genuinely
is like
does.
90.
Cobra has gone down.
Yeah.
Checking for survivors.
Okay, it's a B movie.
Reinforcements are on their way.
Yeah.
Is this just a cameo, or is he actually?
All right, listen up. The infecteds are ruthless, strong, and they're smart.
Oh, it's
We were
very
on a
B.
recon mission,
It's
killing
super B.
infecteds. When we got redirected here,
Maybe even C.
I want to ready up ASAP.
Now,
thought
is
you
Chuck
could use the help.
literally just standing in one scene? I bet you.
Alistair?
Oh.
Yes, Jim.
Oh,
playing a robot.
Base was running tests.
He's playing a robot.
13 now. Captain Rupert hasn't
Why did they
responded.
make the robot look old?
We gotta go now.
I don't give a shit. He looks like Chuck.
it should have been the other way around.
Will.
Have the Asian guy be the robot, right?
Then let's get
Yep.
Yeah.
started.
Oh,
Chuck's got a minigun.
he's got a minigun.
Work together.
Dude, this
How do you make Chuck Norris
this is
more
instant
dangerous?
Money, dude.
Minigun.
Instant money.
Yup.
I know Alistair. That's the plan.
Wonder why he's doing
Wow.
it. He can't need money.
Dude, I don't know why they
No.
don't do a movie with
Mark
him where
Singer?
he's just- Yeah, that was the
That's
guy
who
with the
the old
beard
dude
at
is?
the beginning, dude. Yeah.
So, Jim.
Beastmaster and Chuck Norris?
Dude,
I can't get my wife to watch Beastmaster. I keep telling her she'll love it. She won't watch it.
that's a great movie, dude.
Got titties in it?
No, she don't care about that.
Okay, well then I don't get it.
Yeah.
She loves her some boobies.
Yeah, okay. Well, I don't know about that either. Despicable Me 4. Mm-hmm. Kids will go.
Did we
There's
need
so many
four?
unanswered
Did we need
questions
four
from
of those?
First three?
Yeah, well.
Yeah, did we need four of those?
It's like Transformers.
Ugh,
movies,
the boys. What a shame.
yeah,
The boys is.
just don't look at it. Don't look at it. Okay.
Mel Gibson's in a movie.
We are lady parts.
Okay.
Jesus.
I do love how in movies when they try to make geek girls, they're never geek girls.
No.
Like, trust me, I was at a Renaissance fair today. I seen some geek girls. I said, "Oh, that's unfortunate."
That's
They're never
why-
that.
Goodness gracious here.
I watched one
he's a
episode
good
of that
actor,
interview
though.
with the Vampire Show, and it was terrible.
What do you say?
I said I watched one episode of that interview with the Vampire Show, and it was awful.
Well,
Oh, I'm
some
sure.
reason had to race swap for some reason. I don't know why.
It's not even that. It's basically it's the gayest thing you could possibly think of,
Yeah.
which makes no sense because like the whole thing with her version of vampires is sex is meaningless.
Right.
Yeah. No,
Presumed innocent. That's a remake.
Okay.
That's a remake of a Richard Gere movie, I think.
Well, we have
Yep.
Last Stop in Yuma County. That's a remake too.
No,
There it
you
is.
think of 310 to Yuma.
Am I?
Yeah.
I probably am. And they've made 2 of those. They both were good.
Yep.
It's hard
Yeah,
for
they're
me to
both
decide
good.
which one's best, though. I kind of like Christian Bale one, not Russell Crowe one.
Russell Crowe and Christian Bale were both in that.
Yeah. I just can't. It's hard to say, man. I really like the remake. It's rare, but true.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Very Odd Parents. I remember my kids watching that.
Huh. That's interesting.
G-
Oh, there it is. X-Men 97.
Yeah, which is bombed horribly, unfortunately.
It's a
Which,
shame too because I heard it's
unfortunate
pretty
because
good.
It was actually pretty good.
Yeah, but they
It's-
they
Like
came
it-
the
It
way
was the
they
same. It was
talk.
what we said before.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
it was what we said before. They marketed it like retards, and that's what they get. What they get.
Why do
Everybody
we
thought it
have
was gonna be
another
woke as
movie
shit.
called Lazarus Project? Why? You know how many movies have that name?
Too
Is
many.
Is this like a TV version of it or something?
I don't want to. I'll look at it in a second. Senna.
It is a TV series.
Okay. Senna. I probably will watch that with my wife. She's a big fan of him as well. This fella right here, for those of you who don't watch F1, this is the quintessential race car driver. He did die, and no one was surprised because this guy was on the edge every second he was in the car. He never played it safe. He was not like the Schumachers and those kind of guys that are just freaking mechanical about it, right? This guy was on the edge of death every second he drove for every year he was in F1. And of course, he killed himself because of it. But
Isn't this? Oh god, this is okay. This is a Netflix series then.
Senna,
I think is it? Yeah, is it? Because there was a movie called Senna about like 15 years
yeah, a
ago.
long time ago, yeah.
Yeah.
But hopefully they don't. I don't know. Hopefully they don't mess with it. Just tell the story of Senna, because he was pretty amazing. Anyway, let me take a look at this Lazarus Project. Fine. All right, fine. Let me see.
What exactly did you
Oh boy.
Some of these African actors we've gotten out of all this woke nonsense, we've actually get some pretty good actors though.
Yeah.
And these guys are Africans. They're not Black Americans. They're Africans.
Oh, this is the thing. This is the show. Yeah, this is a TNT show where they go back into they can wind time backwards or some shit.
Which has nothing to do with any of the other Lazarus Project movies.
Nope.
Or Lazarus
They
in
even
general.
understand what Lazarus means.
We're stuck in an infinite time loop of 3 weeks.
But no, seriously, there's been most of them are in Europe. And this doesn't look so interesting. Most of them are in Europe, but there are a lot of African actors coming up that are pretty good, man. So if anything's good come out of it, that there's something. Well, first of all, Atlas is bad because someone told Jenny that she could act, and someone forgot to tell Jenny that you're only famous because you're pretty.
Yeah.
And she's still pretty.
And-
She's my wife's
and
age,
they've got-
she looks great.
Yeah. You got robots with pronouns.
Yeah, right.
Mm,
Yeah,
mm,
of course.
mm,
Channing Tatum is doing something. Okay, Channing.
What's it gonna do when he's not pretty anymore?
I don't know.
Because that's
that-
pretty much his big claim to fame was he was
Well-
a pretty dude. He was pretty funny though.
Here is the thing between these two, because they're both the same. They're pretty. They don't have much else, right?
Yeah.
But Channing gets it.
Yeah.
He's not angsty about it. She's pissed.
He
all
knows
the
it. He
time.
knows his role.
He gets
He
it.
knows his
Yeah.
role.
Yeah, she's pissed. She's pissy. She's pissy. That's why she's gone through so many men.
They
She's
can't
just,
put up with her.
She's pissy.
And he's got a good sense of humor too. So
Yeah, I mean, it's a good juxtaposition here with these two because they're both just pretty. That's it. You know, I got to check this out because why not? Black exploitation. I want more of it.
dude,
All right.
did you see that? Did you see that? They cloned Tyrone.
No,
It was
Apple-
pretty damn
The
funny.
story I'm
Apple
about
TV.
to tell you is how I,
he looks familiar, doesn't he?
the Black Panther Party founder, was set free into a
Yes,
prison.
but I don't know why.
I envision a world beyond conflict and violence.
It's about Black Panthers.
I want to transform society. This
Oh,
is
boy.
just the beginning.
This is not going to be an honest take.
Talk about a star. That guy's a star.
Bird Dick, Richard Pryor.
Is this literally about black exploitation movies? Is that what this is about?
Don't we look alike?
I don't know.
really.
I don't know how you make a comedy about Black
The
Panthers. though,
FBI
but,
has
hey.
been pursuing Huey Newton for years. They saw the programs worked and change was happening.
We are trying to stop an enemy of the state.
A massive nationwide manhunt is now underway.
Where am I supposed to go?
You should check
Huh.
out Bird. He's willing to do whatever it takes.
They're expecting you at every crossing.
Hey, that's why I'm leaving the country.
You're gonna need disguises, transportation.
You're the hotshot producer, man. Produce this.
This is a dangerous idea.
Maybe.
I didn't know I was having company.
All right, listen up. We're gonna get Huey to Cuba in the next
Blazing
48 hours.
Saddles.
And what we do is we make it look like it's
Is
one
that
of
who
the
it
movies.
is?
It's a location shoot as far
No,
as
that
it's
was on the, there was a billboard.
They're doing the Argo thing where they're making it look like they're making a movie to smuggle them out of the
Yeah,
country.
yeah.
We need to secure a boat.
But he was a bad man, though. You see.
Yep.
Bad
Anyway.
man.
And you could in both ways. Yeah. What was that movie I was supposed to be paying attention to? What? Why do I keep
You
getting
already
new
forgot.
movies every time I reset
I
this?
don't know.
Yeah.
It's a very good question.
They're having problems. You had said something I was supposed to look at. Protocol 7, don't know. You can't run forever. Yes, sir. You're getting old, sir. That's
That's
AK.
true. You can't run forever.
Yeah.
That's actually a true statement.
That's A.K. Simmons, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
J.K. Simmons, yeah.
Whatever. That guy. Yeah. He's
Sandland.
pretty good
That's
actor.
the last thing that what's his name? Toriyama worked on.
Oh, right. Yeah. Reginald the Vampire season 2. I've seen it available, and I've decided not to look at it. Velma, go
What
away, evil.
Why is Outer Range? Outer Range is an old movie.
Well, this is a series, though. This is a TV series. Yeah.
Josh Brolin.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Josh Brolin.
No. That's that picture with Josh Brolin. That's the movie.
Is it? I thought it was a TV
Yeah.
series.
No.
Okay.
Let me look and see if maybe they're making a series. Maybe they got the wrong picture.
Probably.
Challengers. Yeah.
Hey, look. Cyclops is right next to himself at the bottom down there. The two pictures.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah, they made it into a series, and this is the season 2. Okay.
Okay. The funny thing about this Challenger, there was people who were talking about it. I didn't bother to listen because I don't care. Because I don't care anything about this Zendaya girl. But they were going on about there was going to be a sex scene with Zendaya. Which first of all, why would that excite you?
Especially with her.
That's what I mean. I mean, she's got the body of a 12-year-old boy. She's not particularly attractive, so why would you care about a sex scene with Zendaya? But then they flipped it on them. They twisted the script. There is no sex scene in the movie with her. What there is a gay scene.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say, how the hell they flipped this? Did they just reveal that she's a boy?
No, that she knew because she's special woman powers, right?
Okay.
The two guys were acting like they wanted her, but really they wanted each other. Okay.
Ah, you see, secretly.
Thank you, Roger. Yeah, but whatever. I've been paying attention to the chat here. Let's see here. Maple Shook says there's only one Ultra Man, and that's Jerry O'Connell from the TV show My Secret Identity. Fair enough. Yep. Chuck Norris is 81. Yep, and he's still making movies.
Look at this. The tattooist of Auschwitz. Have we scraped the bottom yet?
I think so. Yeah.
How much more can we get out of this tragedy? Like, can we please move on?
Maple. I'm gonna put you in timeout.
Oh. He's abusing his power already. Here it is.
You got trouble. Dark Matter. Is that my cousin? It is my cousin.
It is.
Let's see. We got Tim Russ. I haven't seen him in a while,
huh? Yeah.
Let's see.
There it is. Joker 2. Ugh. It could be great, or it's going to be one. There's going to be no middle ground. It's going to be fantastic, or it's going to be awful.
Now
that's it.
Because we know all of the artsy musical stuff in it is going to be in his delusion, right?
Right.
We know this. And Jesus, Bob. So it could. You're right. It could be. It just this weird, odd, creepy, awesome. It could.
Yep.
It's possible. Yeah. Let's see.
I don't know. I think it's gonna be hard to. I think it's gonna be hard to strike lightning twice.
I do too. I think so too. Yeah.
But I hope not, because I really, 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 really liked the first Joker. It's phenomenal.
Oh, yeah. No, this Abigail movie, my buddy says it is not what you think it is.
No, I'm not going to say much about it because you don't watch the trailer. Don't watch the trailer, and just go watch the movie. Matter of fact, don't even look at this picture. Don't ignore it.
You see nothing.
You see nothing. But in general, it's got some woke nonsense in it, but a little bit. And the ending was wrong. But in general, it's fun. I'd suggest go watch it. It's good fun.
So,
but it's not.
I see down here. It's true. Yeah. I see down here the next little knock down here. We have Mother of the Bride. Is this a remake of Father of the Bride?
Probably. But I don't care about that. I see a Channing Tatum in a Flyboy movie.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's got a couple. He's working. But more importantly, Anthony Hopkins is on my screen.
Yeah. It's that's supposed to be about the dark side of Rome or something like that. The entertainment of the masses.
You have never seen that before.
Yeah.
Real original. I'll pretty much watch Anthony Hopkins do just about anything.
That's true.
Yeah.
Ape versus Mecha Ape. Wait a minute. What?
That's
Yo,
Asylum,
yo.
dude. That's Asylum.
Yo.
Here's another movie called Lazarus. Lazareth. All right, fine. I
No.
got. This is my last one. I'm gonna click on this and be done with it, because Anthony gets my attention because he's earned it.
The telling of history is but a
He
history
is.
of war.
I don't even know if it's
Not
arguable,
only
but he
those
might very
who
well
fought
be
on
the greatest of all
battlefields,
time
waged with whispers and
at the
palaces,
craft
or before
of
the crowds
the acting.
in the arenas. Citizens of Rome, place your bets well, for there
Is
are
this a
those
show
about to
or
rise
a movie?
and those about
It's a show.
to die.
It's about the gladiators.
Yeah.
All
I'm
right.
sure it's going to be very accurate.
Let's listen to that
telling
again.
of his-
Let I'm sure, but kind of like that Spartacus thing that came out was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But here, let's just
The
listen to
telling
that.
of history is but a history of war. Not only those fought on battlefields, waged with whispers in palaces, or before the crowds in the arenas. Citizens of Rome, place your bets well, for there are those about to rise and those about to die.
Jesus. I mean,
That guy could narrate the phone book and I'd listen to
yeah,
it.
you're right.
No, he is. He is amazing.
He is. You know, another
Has
person
Anthony
just got
Hopkins ever done?
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, has he ever done has he read a book? Like, has he done
Oh yeah.
I'd hope
audio
so.
books?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, what's up, Mr. Miracle? Yeah, no, I
Hello,
hope
how's
so
it going?
because he's freaking awesome. But you know who
Yeah,
else
he would
is a
be great.
great narrator is John Lithgow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, he did shoot, he's done a bunch of them. He did some Stephen King stuff. He did God, I swear he did like I hear shit. What did
Well,
he?
just look
He's
it
done a
up.
bunch
Let me
of
go
stuff.
check it.
I'm looking. Yeah, I'm looking it up right now.
I was gonna say the thing about the Spartacus show is it never tried to claim it was historically accurate. It was basically fantasy,
Historical
Spartacus.
fiction. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was
Let's see.
off the back of 300 being really popular.
Yeah, no, they did in that style, and I watched every bit of it.
Oh, it's great. I loved it.
Oh, Anthony
No,
Hopkins has
show.
done few here. Looks like.
Did you ever watch the show? Did you ever watch the show Rome?
Yeah, no, I love that show.
Yeah,
It's too
he
bad.
did.
they
I,
didn't-
oh yeah. Anthony Hopkins did a audiobook for Silence of the Lambs too.
Oh wow.
No, I didn't know he did that. Oh
Yeah.
wow, I would almost read those that way.
Yeah, no, it is hard to find what we're looking for, though, isn't it?
Yeah. I know he did a lot of them back in the day.
Here we go.
Audiobook narrated. He did. He does like he did like a lot of. He did like a bunch of poetry books and stuff too.
Yeah, I can't find it.
Yeah,
too
I could see
easily.
that easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He likes doing the prose, you know.
Yeah, but his pacing and his pause, and of course just his perfect speech is just amazing. And of course, then you put him as an actor, it just unbelievable. Actually, there's a movie where he plays a psychic that came out within the past decade. And he's going up against another psychic, and it's actually really good. I can't remember the name of that one.
What's that?
He's a psychic, and a real one. And
Sounds interesting. Yeah.
and they're chasing a serial killer, and they can't catch him, and they bring him in to help. And yeah, it's a really good Anthony Hopkins movie. I loved
I have
it.
to look that up.
Yeah, let me go find the name of it here.
I think I know the one you're talking about. Is it Fracture?
I'll recognize it when I see it.
No, I think he's a lawyer in that one.
He's a retired. Used to work with him all the time, and then he retired because of some bad things happened, and typical story. Let me go find it
Yeah.
here. Let's see here. It's like 10 years ago. You can talk.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure it out.
Well,
Instinct?
I'll be checking out
No.
this Gladiator show on Peacock, and since I have that.
Solace.
Yeah.
Solace.
Solace.
And it's got
Okay.
frickin' Jeffrey Dean Morgan in it, who's freaking awesome, and it's got Colin Farrell. Of course, it has Colin Farrell.
Of course, it has Colin Farrell.
And Colin, I'm not going to say anything. Go watch the movie.
Yeah.
Once
Colin
again,
is one of those bad pennies. He always turns up.
yeah, it's called
I'll have
Solace,
to check that out.
and it's
Solace.
pretty solid little movie. It's just
Yeah.
it's serial killer cop procedural, but Anthony Hopkins is being, Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah, well, I like those, and he's a double points there for being on it. So
And it's
I'll
got
have to
Colin
check that out.
Farrell in it, and he plays a very important role. So
Colin Farrell's one of those guys that he's either he's actually a good actor, but his choices are hit or miss.
sometimes,
Yeah, definitely.
everything I see him in is good, though.
Yeah.
The movie
Typically.
might not be the great thing for me to. Oh, I loved it, but he's usually pretty good.
Yeah, he's always good in everything he's in.
Yeah, but Anthony's great.
Damn, I forgot he was in Audrey Rose.
Anthony
Hopkins, yeah.
Yeah. Well, one of my favorite Anthony Hopkins movies is The Last Indian.
Mm-hmm. Or you seen that movie from like 1979 or whatever, The Magic, where he's like he's got the puppet. He's insane.
Yeah. The
Oh
ventriloquist.
yeah, that's creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ventriloquists always creep me out.
Yeah, no, they do, don't they? Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I don't know what it is.
Anthony has a storied career. He is a proper thespian, and he's amazing. Like, well, we
He's
had
the dude.
Westworld,
Oh, yeah.
right? And the first
Yeah.
season with him in it, I mean, there was some annoying stuff in it, but in general, it was like, wow. And then at
They
the end
didn't
of the
get-
season, they
yeah.
killed him, and I'm like,
This-
what?
Listen, Marvel/Disney, they got about a decade of pretty darn good superhero movies. We'll
They
give them
did.
their flowers.
They did, yeah.
They had the
There's
best
yeah.
possible Odin you could ever ask for,
Mhm.
and they fucked it
Yeah.
up.
They did.
Yeah.
They fucked it up.
They did.
He
Because
had-
aside from the first movie, he was never really even close to Odin. And that's
No,
not
no,
Anthony's
of course
fault. He absolutely could kill that role if they had let him.
Oh, dude, he had
Yeah, totally.
he had the best line in that first Thor movie. When he was talking to Loki in the second movie, when he was talking to Loki, and Loki's like, he's like it was, but I did it because of my. He's like, your right was to die.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one.
It's just there's levels to the game, and he just showed right there why he's way above everybody else in those movies. Like he just killed it.
Yeah.
Just all right, yes sir. I should have just died. Sorry.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, anyway, that's what we got for you guys today. Yeah, no, it's at least there are some fun indie stuff here or there that we can check out. There's always the positive. We talk a lot about the idiots and stuff, them wasting money, but we're simply not going to watch it. So go watch something else. And there are other things to watch. It's not as barren as it looks. And keep in mind when we look at Box Office Mojo and things like that, that is talking about the cinema, and all they really care about these days, because they're dying, is the big blockbuster that can make them millions of dollars, because they're dying. And
Yes.
a lot of these little indie things will never make the cinema anymore. You have to find them on various streaming services, or like we were looking at Shudder today is another one if you like horror movies. But I still
Shudder's
suggest
great.
go to the finished databases.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, it's legal there.
Right.
It's not illegal at all, because there's no money being made. That's their law.
That's right.
But you can go
Which
find
is
all kind of cool stuff.
which is the way all the laws should be. But we won't get into it at the end of the show, Chet. So we'll leave it alone.
Yeah, no.
Leave it alone.
Well, the thing is that you're not going to see the brand new stuff there anyway, because they're not going to. It doesn't
No.
come on to them until it comes on Blu-ray.
Right.
But these days, which one of the things that's killing the cinema, by the way, is the fact that how long after a movie drops do we get a Blu-ray these days?
Oh, very quickly.
Yeah,
very quickly.
Where it used to be
Or
like,
it's on streaming in Blu-ray quality.
Yeah, I mean, how long ago was it we went and saw Dune 2, and it's on Max now?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just such a small window now, whereas in the past it was much longer, and that's killing part of the thing is killing cinema as well. It's just just wait 2 weeks, man. I mean, really. But nevertheless,
it's not good.
I
do suggest the Finnish databases. Go ahead.
I was going to say, as far as the indie thing goes, I believe a lot of it is the indie is the future. Like I was listening to something about there's a big thing within publishing now where because the romantasy and some of the other stuff that's been taking over, the big epic fantasy is dying, but it's not dead in the indie scene.
Right.
Only in the publishing scene, because the publishers, like the big publishers, don't exactly want to devote that much time to something like that now. So they're looking for smaller, quick and done type stuff.
Yeah, bean counters. Yeah, I get it. But we had the same thing happen in the 70s, you know.
Correct.
Because and it was
some good stuff came out of those.
Because of it. Yeah, I mean, it echoes a lot. There was a big actor strike back then, and of course we just had a big actor strike here. Their budgets had gotten ballooned to ridiculous levels. They were spending way too much money, and Hollywood died. And what happened was all these little indie things, they got it was free and open, and they wormed themselves in. And then we had, the end of the 70s coming into the 80s, even part of the 90s. Great run of cinema, right? Great run. And we're probably seeing the same thing happen here. The big studios are going to bomb. We're not going to see big budget movies, but the indie stuff's going to start shining. So,
yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, I think so.
I think just like with what happened about 10, 15 years ago with gaming, it's the same thing that's going to happen. It'll be whoever finds the way to monetize it the simplest. Not necessarily the best, but the simplest to the customer, like Steam did with gaming, with PC gaming back in the day, and kickstarted the indie revolution, which is really the only reason the gaming industry hasn't crashed. That's the only reason.
Yeah.
Is because of the indie market.
Oh yeah.
Because it's crashing hard in AAA, so
it is
real hard.
It is, yeah. Bob, I don't know how well you're doing your job here as moderator. I will read Cheek's last statement. He says, Maple number 1, Russia question number 1, U.S.
Who's letting the snow Mexican talk?
What are you doing?
I was just confused. I'm trying to decipher what the hell that's supposed to mean.
Well, I just deciphered it for you.
No, you just read you just read it. What does it doesn't make any sense.
Haktui means
yeah, I got that part, but the rest of it.
Well, what he's saying is Canada is great, Russia maybe is great, the US go to hell is what he's saying.
Yeah, that's basically.
Maple, why do you make me do things like this?
Wrench his ass.
Why do you make me hit you?
Why do you make me do this?
Makes me think of a movie they haven't remade yet, Mommy Dearest. I bet you they have.
Yeah.
I bet you they have.
It'll be Daddy this time, I'm sure.
I'm sure Daddy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Mommy can't be the bad one. Daddy's got to be.
Mommy can't be the bad guy.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, guys, I got to get myself ready and go out here to work. I got a full day of dealing with doctors, and you don't understand that pain. So
I do. I've dealt with them.
Yeah. Yeah. And, then I got all kind of university crap I have to deal with. I got a lot of crap. I'm busy. I got crap to deal with. You know what my solace is getting up at the crack of before dawn and driving and delivering dynamite as the sun rises. It's wonderful.
It sounds miserable, but I'm glad you enjoy it.
Oh, I love it.
Why
This morning
why are you delivering dynamite?
oh, I've been doing that for a long time. My friend owns
I
a
didn't know
dynamite
that.
business, and I help him out when he's busy. I have a very effective driver's license. I can drive pretty much anything. Now I can't. I don't have
Does
a
he let
license
you
for
set them
nuclear
off?
waste though.
Does he let you set them off?
No, we basically deliver them. But although
No,
I did
that's
have
a
to take a
shame.
test, and I had to study and understand exactly how dynamite works, so I am proficient.
Yeah, my dad's first job out of college was a dynamite plant for so many
Yeah,
years.
yeah. It's weird because I have no need to know how to use dynamite. I literally just deliver it, but the test required it. So,
Hmm.
In case you ever, want to blow up a
I
building,
mean,
Well,
you
I
never
know
know when
now.
it might be
You do
useful.
live on
Your
Sex
dad's probably.
Mountain. Maybe you never know.
You never know. But your dad
Yeah.
probably knows how to deal with it too, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm. He's had some crazy story. Well, my dad was a chemist for 40 years after that too,
Oh,
but
there you go. Yeah.
he has some pretty crazy stories about working at a dynamite.
Yeah, no. People are dumb. And
Yeah.
it doesn't matter where you are. People are dumb. We had an accident here not too long ago to shut us down for a little bit, but because basically what they drew is they drill. They have this machine that drills holes into the rock and makes many
Yep.
holes, and then they cascade it in
Yep.
sequential order to drop a sheet of 10 feet or so of rock.
Right.
But
Yeah.
nevertheless, they're in the middle of the mountain, and that's where it's thickest and hardest, right? And
Mhm.
of course, the drill is struggling, and when the drill is struggling, it does a certain little thing. It's called friction. I don't know if you
Yeah.
ever heard of it. And it gets it hot, and some idiot
This
just they
guy.
drill the hole, and he immediately takes a stick of dynamite and throws it in. Wonder what happened? You think?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh,
Curious.
Hole in his leg. Yeah.
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 He's
My
lucky to have a
dad's
leg.
He's lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
my dad's craziest story I'll tell real quick. My dad's craziest story was so he for a while he was like the inspector of the buildings at night, late at
Hmm.
night, right?
Yeah.
So one night he was supposed to be there on his job, but he got sick with the flu, so he didn't go into work that night. And the building that he would have been walking in, right around the time he would have been walking in, because it was very scheduled how they would do it, it blew up.
Oh wow.
So so he avoided being blown up because he had the flu that night.
Holy.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, no, that's he missed that one. That's good. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
no.
you missed that one, thankfully. I wasn't born then either, so
Oh wow. But yeah, no, you see some pretty dumb mistakes happen, and it's weird
oh
because,
yeah.
it's dynamite. Maybe we need a little bit of focus, you know, just a
You would
touch.
think, but I've
You
heard
would
some
think.
pretty crazy stories about people doing some stupid stuff.
Well, you know what the funniest thing for me is? We have, dynamite is highly regulated, obviously, right?
Right.
And even to be able to interact with it, you got to take all kind of tests and all kind of background checks and all kind of nonsense. Obviously,
Yep.
no one's going to complain about that.
Right.
And we have a special flag that we have to put on the front and the back of the vehicle we're using to transport. We have to get a special license, which we have to update weekly, by the way. Talk about red tape. But nevertheless,
Yeah.
Yeah.
we get these special red flags that says fire on it, right? In Japanese,
Fire.
kanji, right? And the funniest
Yeah.
thing is every year we get a batch of new cops because they're always kind of moving the cops around. We get the rookies. And of course, these
Mm,
guys, they got a gun on their hip and a badge, and they're, the Superman, right? And around
right.
that same period, which just happened back here in April, we always get some new cop who pulls us over and wants to know what the red flag is. And it's like, shouldn't you know that,
Really?
Mr. Police Officer?
Yeah, you would think that would be something that would be taught.
Just maybe. And besides, if you see a truck going down the road and it has a big red fire sign on the front and back of it, maybe you should stay away from it.
Just a thought.
I mean,
Just give it a
it's
wide berth.
it's maybe something to contemplate on.
A little bit. And of course, we tell them, well, it's for dynamite, And of course, then he wants to see the dynamite. And it's like, are you sure about that?
Yeah, I think he just wanted to see the dynamite. He said, "What?
Yeah.
I want to see dynamite."
Maybe. And it might also
Dynamite
be
is cool.
But it's true.
It
But it
is
also might be the fact that you got this truck with big red fire signs on it, and there's a white guy driving it.
Yeah.
Could be something to do with that.
American terrorist.
Yeah. But anyway, I gotta go. I gotta get to work. But Grimlock, you been here? Love you, brother. Haven't heard a word. Would you like to say something?
Sure.
Okay.
So far, we're halfway into 2024,
Mhm.
and I think this is the year of seeing a lot of these faggots in the entertainment industry getting what they fucking deserve.
Fair.
Good night, everybody.
It only took 3 hours and 9 minutes and 47 8 seconds. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Gotta say
Some kind of banger after all of that.
Well, thank you very much, Grimlock, and I agree. Mr. Miracle, would you like to say something to the people?
No, I don't really have a whole lot to say.
Heard you went to a Ren Fair.
Yes, that was fun. Yeah.
I did those for 20 years. I was in the SCA.
It was fun enough that we're thinking about going to another one here in a couple months.
Well, I was telling him you should go to either down to Georgia and go to Fool's War, because that's coming up, or go to Penzix over in Pennsylvania, because these are these are quote unquote private. They're not public events, but you can go.
Yeah.
And you're talking, Fool's War is probably 50,000, 30,000 maybe. Penzix 100,000 people.
Funny you brought up. I hadn't heard about Fool's War as much, but it's funny you brought up Penzig because I've watched like a bunch of videos on Penzig recently.
Oh, it's freaking awesome, dude. I fought
It
Penzix
looks
for many
pretty
years.
amazing.
Yeah. Because that one, the cool thing about Penzix is because I was a fighter, right? And I love sword fighting. I love football. It's a perfect combination, right? And Penzix will have like 10, 12,000 people on the field. That's two armies of 5,000, 6,000 people. And it's freaking awesome, dude. It's just it's awesome. Yeah, I mean, but it's just one of those things that I did for, like I said, 20 years. But I get to the point where instead of taking a day or two to heal up, it took me like a week or so, and I just had to stop. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Anyway, Thunder, take us out of here, man.
I have two for you, Chester. Two very quick ones. Talked a little bit about the arrogance, the hubris, if you will, of these people nowadays. And I have this one for you. The only safe place in this world is humility.
Huh.
And then I have another one, kind of plays into it. Mastery of one is excellence in many.
Oh, yeah, that's true. The first one, though, I lived next to humility, but I never visited.
You're not safe. You literally drive dynamite around, Chester. That's how arrogant you are. You're just out here just cruising with dynamite like a psychopath.
Yep.
Like, that's normal.
Yep. And my friend is always telling me, slow down, slow down.
It's like this white boy just wants to die. I don't know.
Well, the funny thing
These white boys and their death wishes.
I was coming down a mountain many years ago, and I had a big load of dynamite on. Coming down the mountain, just flying down the mountain, and a big truck was coming the other way, and I don't stop. I'm just going to go by it. Just ripped the mirror right off the truck. It was great.
Yep.
He panicked. It was funny. Anyway.
He panicked. He panicked. Ah.
Anyway, later, everybody.
Later.
Bye.